God, he died alone, like in his. I don't think he had COVID.
I mean, yeah, exactly. I know some people that died during that period, but really nobody.
Jeff Scott was HIV positive too.
Yeah, for a long time.
I wonder if maybe he couldn't get his meds.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, because that was an issue during the pandemic as well. That's when we realized that China makes all our medicine. Like, what? China makes a lot of things, man. It's crazy how much we rely on them for manufacturing stuff.
Yep, crazy.
Yeah, they're trying to mitigate some of that now. Samsung's actually putting in a chip factory in Austin.
Huh.
Yeah, should be interesting.
Yeah, we got to do something. We got to get businesses back over here and stuff.
Yeah, we definitely shouldn't rely on a foreign country that is not our ally for our fucking medicine. Jesus.
Right.
That's so kooky. That is such a kooky thought.
We live in the craziest times.
It's so weird, man. It's every day it's weirder and weirder. And every day AI gets stronger and stronger. And every day I wonder, like, are these the last days of just being a regular person? Are these the last days of us just driving around, getting on a plane, going to places, telling jokes? Are these just the last days of that? Like, are we going to be living in a world in 5 years that's unrecognizable? Because I think we are, dude.
I hope not. I don't know. The AI stuff still, I'm not completely mesmerized or convinced. I hear you and Duncan talking about it a lot in the green room, and I'm just always like, I don't know. I haven't bought in yet. It all just seems like a fancy Alexa to me.
Well, have you actually seen what it can do? Have you ever seen what it can do, like, as far as coding?
No.
It can code so much faster than people. Like, it can solve problems faster than people. It can do all of these things already better than people can. Like, no one in the future is going to need to hire a coder. Like, a person who sits in front of a terminal for 16 hours a day and just fucking Adderalls out and just, like, lines of code. That's done. That's done. You can do that if you want to. But a computer's going to bang it out quick. It would be stupid for you to do that. When a computer can do it in 2 seconds, you're going to spend 16 hours and you might fuck up a few lines and you got to go back and check it. And why? Why entering it manually? The computer's just going to do it. You know? Why? Are you going to stand there with one of those old-timey photographs and everybody has to stand still? No. You have a phone now. It takes a better picture. It's going to be like that with everything. It's going to be in control of airplanes. It's going to be in control of all the automobiles. The problem is you're going to have to get, like, permission to go places. It's going to get fucking weird, dude. It's going to get really, really weird.
Yeah, I just hope we can. I don't know.
Well, think about the amount of change that we have now in comparison to just our parents. Just our parents. The best transportation back then was an airplane. The best way to get the news was the television or a newspaper, and you didn't know what to do with your life. You got to go to college, and then you go to college, or you go to trade school, or you get a apprenticeship, and you get a job, and then you get a kid, and you don't know what the fuck is going on in the world. It's this, like, surface level understanding of what's going on in the world, and now everybody knows what's going on in the world. Now, the amount we knew about the Iraq invasion in 92, 93, whatever it was, when the Iraq invaded Kuwait and Desert Storm, the amount we knew was, like, minuscule.
Yeah.
Minuscule. There was no, like, YouTube shows where you could see someone breaking it down. Oh, they're actually trying to get away from the American dollar, and we're trying to do this and that. And there's none of that. No one knew the hustle.
It's crazy that these wars are still happening. I don't know why we're giving them our money. We need a. I don't know.
That's not going to change.
Yeah.
I mean that might shift if Trump becomes president. I mean, maybe he can get away with some stuff. Maybe he could do some things. He wants to stop the wars. He's like the only one that's, like, saying he can stop the wars. He wants to stop the wars.
He's the only one that did before. He did it.
What can he do though? What can he do different? Like, let's pretend it's November of 2024. Trump wins. January he gets in office. What can he do?
Well, it seems like he has a way to.
Jesus Christ. Trump is planning to send kill teams to Mexico to take out cartel leaders. Donald Trump has told allies about his plans to covertly send special forces to Mexico to assassinate drug kingpins. Sources tell Rolling Stone. Well, Rolling Stone, you have lied to me before. You've lied to me a lot. And you've lied to me about the fucking people overdosing on horse dewormer. Remember that? That was Rolling Stone. They had a line of people outside waiting to get to the hospital because so many people were in there for horse dewormer overdoses that gunshot victims couldn't get in. They're so dumb. They used a photograph. This was in like August in Oklahoma. They used a photograph of people wearing coats because they were lining up for a flu shot. It was a different shot, different photo. It wasn't what they really were there for. It was bullshit. What is that article, Jerry? Same thing?
Same thing for the author. The source was Rolling Stone.
Yeah, I mean, if he was doing that, someone's a rat. So shut the fuck up.
Seems like the type of article that you would put up if you want the person assassinated and you want to make it look like someone else is going to assassinate them.
Worded a little differently. One source recalled him saying it in the past, earlier this year, that he would do something.
It should create a kill list of drug lords consisting of most notorious heads of drug cartels that a special ops team would be tasked with killing or capturing.
That's a different way of saying that.
You know, the problem with that is you create a power vacuum. And then what happens is someone else rises to the new spot. You're not going to stop the demand, so you're not going to stop the supply. You can try, but unless you're in an all-out, everyday war with the cartel, you're probably not going to do that. Even if you kidnap and capture leaders, you're going to disrupt the organization. But my guess, my uneducated guess, would be someone was going to come in to fill that void.
Yeah.
They got to make drugs legal, as horrible as that sounds. But that's the only way. They just make them legal, tax the shit out of them, and use the money for treatment centers and education.
And testing.
Yeah, and testing.
You know that it's illegal to have it's illegal to have or to give away fentanyl test strips in the state of Texas.
It's illegal?
Illegal.
Can you sell them?
Me and my buddy are starting a water company. Here's how I know about this. Canned water, right? And the plan was to get them into all the bars in the city. Our idea was to literally just attach a 30-cent, fentanyl test strip. And then we found out we can't do that. You can't give away fentanyl test strips. You can't
give them away.
You can't even order them in Texas.
Can you sell them?
If you go to Amazon, you can get fentanyl test strips in specific states.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Why would they stop test strips?
I don't know.
You think is it encouraging people to do coke? Is that what that is?
I have no idea.
That doesn't make any sense.
I know. It's very bizarre.
There's so many dumbass fucking laws.
Yep.
Because there's so many goofy people on both the left and the right. Texas House passes bill decriminalizing fentanyl test strips.
Maybe it's if you have them, I guess.
The bill would take fentanyl test strips off the state's drug paraphernalia list, meaning it would no longer be a crime to carry them. Yeah. Maybe you just can't give them out.
Yeah. Which is crazy.
Why don't you Google, is it legal to give out fentanyl test strips in Texas?
I did. That's what I got.
Did it give any articles other than that?
It probably says below that part.
How much time can you get for selling fentanyl in Texas? How much time? 20 years. For 200 to 400 grams, you're looking at 5 to 99 years, or even life in prison, at a fine of up to $10,000. Life imprisonment, the most severe punishment for having more than 400 grams. Wow.
They also only do like the state bill stuff here for I don't know how different it is in other states, but it's only like 6 months out of the year. The other half, they're not they're out of session.
Jeez.
You have to wait till next year before they start looking at stuff again. That happened with Game.
Jesus.
There's no reason. There's no reason. They can't have a good reason for it.
There's no good reason.
Right.
I mean, there's an epidemic.
Oh, yeah.
There's 100,000 people in this country in a year.
Yeah.
Update data that died in the Senate.
Oh,
Despite
no.
support from Greg Abbott.
Oh, no. The legislation comes after a bill to decriminalize test strips. So Texas and Congress lead bipartisan efforts to allow fentanyl test strips. The legislation comes after, but died in the Senate despite support.
So whatever I put up before is just going to pass to the House, I guess.
So they're trying to bring it back. Who the fuck is opposing that?
Isn't that crazy?
Who the fuck would oppose fentanyl test strips?
I want to know.
There's an article. 1 second.
Yeah, name your names.
It's
That's a crazy thing to
inexcusable.
oppose.
Yeah.
It's a crazy thing to oppose, kids. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Because if we can figure out who that is and where they're getting their money from, then we can start to solve a lot of problems here. Because that's an actual serious problem. They wanted to make COVID a big deal.
Imagine we're getting the money from the cartel.
Right? I mean,
maybe.
who could it be?
Who could it be? Who the fuck would want you
Who
to
else?
not have fentanyl
Yeah,
tested?
it doesn't say they voted against it. It says it died, which is like they just didn't vote on it.
But the Senate
during
declined to take action
so
in the
it's-
regular session. Oh,
It
okay.
just never got voted on. And that's could be the same thing. Though, like they're avoiding it maybe on purpose, or someone doesn't want to vote on it. But
And, by the way, this is like, some people look at it like, oh, well, those people are doing cocaine anyway or whatever. So maybe it's not we're not losing the best people, but it could be anybody doing anything. It could be somebody trying to do, fucking Molly or, I don't know, any more fun, like an actual, like, goofy psychedelic drug or something like that. Could be in any type of pill.
I wonder if the logic behind not wanting it to be legal or sticking your neck out and saying that it should be legal is that people want to then attach you to promoting drug use, and then you would possibly like have an opponent that could turn it against you and say my opponent promotes drug use. You could have that kind of a deal happen.
Yeah, but there's a problem.
But that was the gay marriage thing. That was a lot of things. There was a lot of things that people wanted to pretend that they were against. I mean, until I think 2013, Hillary Clinton was saying that marriage should be between a man and a woman. Barack Obama said that. They don't say that because they believe it. His opinions changed that much as a grown man. Like, what did you do? Mushrooms? What did you do? Did you smoke DMT? Like, what did you do? Tell me what you did. Where now you have this complete change of heart. And you think it's just be two people who are grown adults who love each other, they should be able to get married. Like, what happened? You tell me. Or you're full of shit. One of these things is going on. Either you're doing this political thing, which is like, God, it's so gross. When they're calculated with what they say just so they can win. Like, ooh.
Yeah. They realize the gays can vote.
So also they realized that public support for gay marriage was way higher because the stigma of being gay all sort of, not that long ago, it was way more stigmatized. Like so many people were in the closet in Hollywood, because they kind of had to be. And to this day, the one open kind of homophobia you have in Hollywood is that gay men never play straight men in movies if they're out. They never play like the leading romantic interest in a movie if everyone knows they're gay.
That's why I'm not in any movies. But also, making gay marriage legal didn't cost them vast sums of money. I bet if we did an online poll where every American had to vote and had to log in, and you polled them, do you think we should be giving money to foreign wars? I can't imagine the number being lower than 90% for no.
Yeah, I think I saw a recent Twitter poll where they tried to do that. The majority of people were like, no.
Yeah. I mean, if we force people to vote on an actual issue.
Well, it's also, you have so many people that are hawkish, and they think that, we can break Russia, or that we need to support Israel, or, whatever their position is, where they're real hawkish on. And they have a limited amount of information about it when you talk to them. So many people, when you talk to them about it, you're like, well, why do you think that we need to keep sending money to Ukraine? Is it working? Like, are these people being used as cannon fodder, or are they gaining ground? Like, you tell me what you think. Well, I just think what Putin did was like, do you support a guy like storming into a country, taking over? I'm like, no, I definitely don't. I definitely didn't support that. But that doesn't mean that you should spend hundreds of billions of dollars to prolong what seems like some horrible, bloody conflict that just, how are they going to win? Are they going to take over Russia? Like, how are they going to win? They're going to kick Russia out? Russia's going to quit? They're never going to do it again? NATO can move in? Everything's going to be fine? Are you sure? Are you sure nuclear weapons aren't on the table? Are you fucking positive? Is it good that China and Russia have cuddled up together now, and they're all buddy, and they're fucking shaking hands and smiling and taking pictures? Like, is that good? That seems not good. It seems not good if the whole fucking world is against us. Like, that seems really bad.
And if they make our medicine.
Right, and what solution could Trump possibly do? Like, when he says he could stop it, like, how do you stop it? How do you stop it?
I think Trump just puts the fear of God into these people a little bit. I think he puts the fear of...
The guy's not going to play by the rules.
Right. They read our news. If they glance at our news, it looks like we have a crazy president. So they're like, oh, let's wait a bit. I honestly feel that way. I think that they think by glancing at our weird propaganda that we have, that we're being fed, they're like, this guy's kind of crazy according to them. So, let's wait. I mean, why did Putin wait? Why did Putin wait to invade Ukraine until, Poopy Pants Jenkins was president?
If I was going to do anything, I'd do it right now.
Yeah.
It just seems like everything's so chaotic.
Absolutely. We got no border. We're giving money to fucking whoever wants it. We're already rich countries.
We got men who are the first female admiral.
Oh my God.
We have so much chaos.
Chaos.
It's so kooky.
Yeah.
It's just so kooky.
It's crazy.
It's kooky, and it seems like they're just leaning into it. Like, there's no course correction at all. Just leaning into the kooky.
Yeah.
Fun times.
Oh, yeah.
For comedy. Oh, my goodness. We have so much stuff to talk about. Stuff that you would have to manufacture something that bizarre that people are accepting at any other time in history.
It's so weird.
So weird. It really is like the whole country's hypnotized. And I just think this is a perfect storm of things that are happening all at the same time. With AI emerging, China and Russia becoming buddies, us being run by a dead man. They're trying to stop this other guy from even running, and they're exposing how corrupt the democracy is. They're exposing how corrupt the system is just by charging this guy with 34 felonies for paying off a lady he had sex with. Like, what?
And how else would he have paid her money to...
Well, the way it was written, the way it was put in a ledger, it's basically, on most situations, it would have been considered a misdemeanor. But they turned it to a felony. They trumped it up, Oh, no pun intended. And then he signed like 34 different checks. So there's 34 different. The whole thing's crazy. First of all, what a cheap fuck. I'll pay her in installments.
Yeah.
Don't give her all the money. Give her a little taste. Keep her on the hook.
Yeah. That actually makes sense, I guess, now that I think about it. Because if you pay her all at once, you could just write a book or whatever.
No, the whole deal was that she couldn't talk if she got the money, but obviously that didn't work out. She got the money and still talked. If you have the backing of the political party, it doesn't matter. Like, especially the party that's in charge. But what's scary is how many Democrats are willing to allow this kind of stuff to happen. But a lot of them are aware of it. There's this one lady that went viral, and she was talking about it, and she was saying, you have to understand, like, I'm not a Trump supporter, I don't like Trump, but this is really dangerous for democracy. Nobody can justify this, and nobody can say this guy should be in jail for this. This doesn't make any sense. And especially if you wanted to look at past presidents with the same scrutiny. I mean, there's so many instances of things that you could go, and this was one of the things that Obama had said when Obama got into office. They were talking about George Bush and Dick Cheney being charged with war crimes. And he was saying, we're not going to look to the past, we're going to look towards the future. You know, like, we're not going to prosecute anybody. Imagine if when Obama got into office, if he decided to prosecute Dick Cheney and George Bush for crimes against humanity.
Yeah, crazy.
Oh my God. You know how crazy that would be? Do you know how divided the country would be then? Well, that's the same thing kind of that is taking place now at a lesser scale, obviously, because it's not a war crime you're charging someone with. But you could charge Trump with war crimes. You could find some things that he did, especially with bombings and, you know, and even what Obama did. Obama, during the administration, they dropped a drone on a U.S. citizen. No trial, no nothing. Boom. Yeah.
Trump didn't even go for He didn't go for Obama. He didn't go for Hillary. You know, and he could have. He could have tried them for things.
Yeah, well, especially Hillary.
Yeah.
Especially with the whole email thing, with deleting the emails.
And supposedly Trump's the crazy one. Trump's the loose cannon.
They're all crazy. That's what they don't want you to know. It's like sluts that are always talking bad about other girls who are sluts. Like, you know, it's what people do. It's a thing that, you know, people are, that's not me. I'm not like that. It's just a weird thing that people do. And people form teams and they justify why they should use any means necessary to silence the other people on the other team, the opposition. And they don't even realize they're setting a precedent that when this motherfucker gets in office or another motherfucker gets in office that's a Republican, you've got real problems now, kids. If the elections are real, that's how it usually goes. It usually goes one side wins and they're like, this fucking sucks. Let's try the other way. The other guy wins, like, oh, this is bullshit. Let's try the other way. And this is what we've done in this country over and over and over again. You know, we go Clinton to Bush, Bush to Obama. It's what we do. It's what we do. We always do it this way.
Yep.
And if you change the way people are allowed to go after political candidates, and you change the way you're allowed to silence and imprison your candidate, then we're like Mexico. We're just not assassinating people yet. You know, we're like a third world country. We're like a banana republic. We're letting things other than the will of the people and what's best for the people be what's running this thing. We're letting the thing be run by the people that are in power, that are corrupt, that want to keep the power. Because it's not just Biden. Biden is barely there, right? It's all the people that are working there. You got to understand, there's this huge team behind them. They don't want to leave. What? Get on LinkedIn? Get on LinkedIn and fucking try to get a new job? Start sending out your resume? I work for the worst administration ever. Right. I was one of the people, you know? I mean, the one thing you can do is get a job as like a political person on like TV. You'll get one of those jobs, like if you're a White House press secretary, you know. And then there's like Huckabee, isn't she like a governor now?
Yeah, I think Arkansas or something.
That's a good one to start with. You want to run the world? Start with Arkansas.
Yeah. I was talking to Tulsi Gabbard the other night, and I went off on a rant to her about mental health asylums. I'm like, these people are everywhere on the streets now.
Yeah.
It's crazy people. And I mean, it's not a great thing to have them out. It's not good for them. And it's not good for everyone else. There used to be actual places. And the money that it would cost, I mean, that's a cost that people would get behind.
Yeah.
The things that we would pay for instead of the things that we are paying for, insane.
I think that happened during the Reagan administration. I think they changed like what it means to be a mentally ill person. They let a bunch of people out. Is that true? Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was during the Reagan. You know, Reagan was one of those Republicans that made people want to be a Democrat.
Oh, you know who I heard actually was behind it was JFK, because he didn't like what happened to his sister.
How so?
They gave his sister the lobotomy.
Oh.
Yeah. And he turned against mental health institutions. I can't remember if it was...
He gave his sister a lobotomy?
Oh, yeah. Bad one.
Oh, my God.
Oh, it's like one of the big Kennedy secrets.
You know, they stopped doing that in, like, the late 60s. They did it for a long time. I had an Instagram post about it. Because I went down a rabbit hole one night. And I was like, what? Like, they just scrambled people's brains. And there was all these ads. Like smiley people afterwards, happy people afterwards. Just scramble your fucking brain with an iron rod that they push through your eyeball. The eldest Kennedy daughter. Wow.
On the Special Olympics.
Wow. Yeah, man. Dude, brains are just like everything else. It's just like some people have bad livers. In their search for cures, in November 1941, Mr. Kennedy arranged to have a lobotomy performed on Rosemary. It was immediately clear that the operation had drastically failed. Rosemary had lost most of her ability to walk or talk. Her personality had been forever altered, and she was left physically disabled. After being released from the hospital, Rosemary was immediately institutionalized.
There's a story I've read about the doctor. There's like one doctor who was doing a lot of the lobotomies. He was traveling around to all the asylums.
Yeah, I read about that guy. He loved it. He loved scrambling brains. I mean, what a fucking, like, remember when you used to whack the TV to get the signal to come in? People don't know. Like, we would be watching TV, you'd be watching like a baseball game, and you'd go, what the fuck? You'd smack the TV, and it would come back in. Yeah, you got it. Like, that's how bad electronics were back then. You would smack the TV, and sometimes it would fix it. Like, sometimes it was like going up, it was just like, bloop, bloop. The screen would go up, and you just whack the side of it, and it would stay still. So remember those days?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was their version of fixing brains. It was just like whacking a TV. They was like, let's just scramble his brains. Yeah. And they were going through your eyeball.
Oh.
That's what they go through. They pull your eyeball aside. Yeah, they pull your eyeball aside. Excuse me. Out of the way. I got to shove a metal rod in there. And just, they get in the brain. They get in your frontal lobe and just go like this.
No.
Yeah. That's how it goes.
God.
You know, bro. Imagine thinking that's a good idea. I know how to fix it, everybody. What was like the most successful lobotomy? Did anybody get a lobotomy and like, wow, that one fucking worked? Like, is there Google what's the most successful lobotomy?
But like someone came out a genius afterwards.
Yeah, somebody came out the most amazing guy.
No way.
No way. But there has to be one like best case scenario. Like this might work. Like one guy, maybe they only scrambled him a little. You know, like Roseanne got hit by a car, became a great comedian. Kennison, hit by a car, became a great comedian. Like there's a little bit of brain damage, not bad for you.
A little bit, yeah.
Just a touch. Just a thud.
Oh, yeah.
Just a little bit.
Everybody needs a little bit.
A little bit?
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. I had so many wrestling in high school.
The last person I had one died in 1967.
That's when they were like, enough. Yeah. I barely missed that. I was born in 57. I already got lobotomized.
Antipsychotic medication.
If I was born in 57 with the wrong parents, 100% they would like scramble his brains.
Yeah.
Or if I was born with the wrong parents, they would have put me on Prozac for sure. For sure, they would have put me on some sort of ADHD medicine.
The best I'm getting is like their claims of improvement.
They reported 63% of their patients had improved, while 24% saw no change, and 14% became worse. Oh. That guy looks pretty good afterwards. The beginning looks like he's like taking a horrible shit. Like, oh God! And the afterwards he's like, I get it now.
That's what they're just like, they were agitated before, and then afterwards they were smiling.
Yeah,
Like,
smiling. Yeah, so some it worked, but it seemed like a very crude idea. Maybe, now, that one's a weird one. That one, they cut the top of that dude's head off. Oof, that was a rough one. Oh, Jesus Christ, they're going through the nose on that lady.
That guy's wearing a muscle
that's
shirt.
Her eye, that's her eye.
Ooh, that's her eye. Oh, Christ. I hope she's out cold.
Why don't those guys have sleeves?
Yeah, they probably, the way everyone's holding her hand, she might not have been out. They probably barely put people out back then. They're fucking crazy.
I watch videos of some of this.
Oh, don't make me watch videos of it. All right, here we go.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, he says. Prefrontal lobotomy. Psychological cinema. Prefrontal lobotomy and chronic schizophrenia from the psychiatric department. Oh,
25.
So this is the lady. Female, age 25. Can you say state hospital patient for over 4 years, failure to improve after several courses of both insulin and convulsive shock. Wow, shock therapy back then. Showing antagonistic hostility reaction in seclusion quarters prior to bilateral prefrontal lobotomy. Bilateral prefrontal lobotomy. They're like, this bitch is so crazy, we're going to give her a double dose.
She's hanging out.
She seems like someone in the audience at Trotoni, like a regular person.
Yeah, she's not bad.
2 months post-operative, now friendly and cooperative, entering into occupational and recreational activities. Let's see what she looks like now. Oh, the other people. Oh, there she is now. Now she's all laughing. Her fucking brain scrambled. Now her hair's all fucked up.
It's crazy though that your brain can be scrambled and you can still function. Like that seems to.
Well, you barely function. But that's the thing. Like people have been shot in the head and they lose like half their head and they still talk.
Right.
There's a lot of weird stuff that happens to people with their brain. Your brain, when one part of your brain gets damaged, the other part of your brain seems to have an ability to recover. There's this one guy. See if you can find this story. This one guy developed fluid in his brain when he was young, and they drained it. So they installed some sort of a thing that drained the fluid from his brain. And once they did that, as he got older, he got another MRI, and they realized his brain was missing. He only had the outside area of the brain, and he had like a 75 IQ. But he was fully functioning with the entire center of his brain gone. You see the MRI, you're like, what in the fuck? The guy has no brain. You know, like, oh, that fucking guy has no brain. That's him. He actually has no brain. Like, you gotta leave him alone. It's not his fault. It's literally gone. So he developed some sort of fluid, and they put something in there. I forget where it drained to. But then over time, you know, his symptoms went away, but his brain went away too. Like, whatever that fluid was in his brain, it was like, took over the whole brain. Oh, God. See if you can find that.
I mean, it's called hydrocephalus when there's brain too much cerebrospinal fluid, excess cerebrospinal fluid.
Yeah, this dude had no brain. And they were talking about how different parts of your brain just make up for what's missing. Your brain sort of figures it out and says, okay. You know what else they found? Playing 3D video games increases gray matter in your brain. It's like a recent study.
That's a good thing?
Yes. It increases your, like, 3-dimensional video games actually increase some gray matter in your brain in some way. And they're not saying, like, people aren't encouraged. See, the thing about video games is people always want to say, don't do it. You're wasting your life if you do I say it. You're wasting your life if you do video games. However, they're awesome.
Yeah.
They're awesome. Are you really wasting your life, or are you doing something fucking awesome? You're wasting your life if you do it only.
Right.
But if you want to do it good, you got to do it a lot. If you want to really fucking murder people in Call of Duty, you got to be on that bitch every day. You got to get the moves down. You got to figure out how to aim. That's the guy.
Same case.
Scientists research man missing 90% of his brain who leads a normal life. Yeah, that's the dude. 44-year-old French man started experiencing weakness in his legs. He went to the hospital, and the doctors told him he was missing most of his brain. The man's skull was full of fluid, with just a thin layer of brain tissue left. The condition is known as hydrocephalus. He was living a normal life. He has a family, he works, his IQ was tested at the time, came like 84, was slightly below normal range. So this person is not bright, but perfectly socially apt. Clearmans is a cognitive psychologist at the University of Libre in Brussels. When he learned about the case, which first described in the Lancet in 2007, he saw a medical miracle, but also a major challenge to theories about consciousness. This dude is missing 90% of his fucking brain.
Is that the guy?
Get that guy on Kill Tony now.
Yeah.
Imagine if you wrote for him. How many of this guy's actually, you put a photo of his brain up on the screen and explain that this guy's literally up here with no brain.
Going back to the brain damage, making people funny thing, we have a new regular as of yesterday, and it was only his second night ever on the show. Drew Nickens, who was bullied by his own military partners. And I don't know what they did to him, something head trauma-wise that he didn't really want to get into. But he's so fucking funny. Like, he's just naturally the most likable, funniest fucking...
Was he funny before the head injury?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Does he know? Like, how aware is he when you're talking to him?
Very.
So he's all there. You
Yeah.
talk to him.
Yep.
But he has brain damage.
Yeah.
You know how many people I know with brain damage?
Oh, yeah. You are the beekeeper of people with brain damage.
I know a lot of people with various stages of brain damage. You know?
Brain.
Rather than 90% of this man's brain being missing, it's more likely that it's simply been compressed into the thin layer that you can see in the images above. Compressed. So the brain has different density?
I mean, if it's like Jell-O.
Can you make your brain like you can make your quads fucking dense? You know, some people have mushy quads. Some people have quads that can fucking jump on top of a huge box. Maybe you can make your brain like that. Super connected. Maybe video games is the way you do it. Find that study. Because that's crazy.
Speaking of brain damage, did you see that UFC put out a clip of Sugar Sean landing that knee on Cheeto Vera without any commentary?
Bro, Cheeto Vera has a chin that's made out of like Wolverine bones. Oh my god. His chin is insane.
It sounds like somebody hitting a wooden baseball bat against another wooden baseball bat.
Not only that, his head snaps back, all the way back. I mean, by the way, it might be the most perfectly timed knee I've ever seen. Here it is. Bro, Sugar Sean is a fucking assassin.
Oh, bro.
That cat is an assassin.
Sitting next to him the whole time before that roast, because that thing went on for 2 hours before I got up there, and there's nobody I would have rather have sat next to.
Right, a guy who's calm under pressure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And he turned to me at one point and goes, dude, I don't know what it is. It's like 20 minutes before our thing. Ron Burgundy was just up there killing, and we were like all kids laughing for a second. And he goes, dude, I don't know what's going on, man, but I'm nervous as fuck, and it's you going up there. He goes, are you nervous? And I'm such a cornball. I told him how I really felt, and I go, I'm probably exactly how you were right before the Cheeto fight right now. Like all the work I've ever done has come to this point.
Yeah.
And he goes, calm. I go, calm.
Calm.
Yeah.
You've done the work.
Yeah.
If you haven't done the work, it's anxiety.
Oh, yeah.
It's a rotten fear. Oof. Like, you got to really do the work if you're going to do something big, whatever it is. And I've done that before where I did the work, and it feels so much different because I've also done it where I kind of fucked off, and then you're like, ooh, I didn't do my best.
The live aspect made it crazy. I mean, I'm looking at the 3 stairs that I had to go up. I'm like, I keep glancing at them, and they're at an angle. You know, it's not like, and they're not like that well lit. It's and they're kind of long and not that tall. So I knew I had to like look. I had to study them. The little things like that.
Did you see what Andrew Schultz was saying about Kim Kardashian? That she was like completely disconnected. That she just sat up there like this. She sat straight the entire time. Like, was completely unaffected and completely disconnected, even when she was getting shit on.
She kind of giggled along. I was watching her.
Performative or real?
I think kind of real.
The
whole thing was very robotic. She brought like 4 6s with her, which I thought was hilarious because, like, even at that level, even a super hot chick.
You don't want to bring up some other super hot chick.
Exactly. So she was just at a table of 6s, just this 10 with 6s.
There you go.
Like a good poker hand. 4 6s and a 10.
Have you ever watched that show? Her show?
No, not really.
My wife watches it in the gym. Yeah. Sometimes she gets in the gym before me. I have to watch this shit. It's amazing that it's a show. It's basically like, let's go get some gum. I went to this thing and I had a talk. You should fill your dreams and go for it. Okay. And then back in the limo, shiny LA. It's all like smash cuts to different scenes. Like the scenery of LA is kind of like half of the show. It's like, you know, like overhead views, the palm trees, the beach, you know, and then they're like, what are we doing for dinner?
Yeah. Oh my God.
But they look pretty.
Yeah.
They look pretty.
Yeah, Ozempic's doing them all good.
You think that's what it is?
Oh, yeah. Everybody's on it now. Everybody that can be on it's on it.
Brian Simpson had a real bad reaction to it.
Yeah. Well, Brian Simpson's made of bread. You can't just inject Ozempic into bread and then expect the bread to just disappear.
He was the one guy that did the carnivore diet with us and just like, oh, suspicious.
Oh, yeah. Sneaky little devil. We were busting his balls all the time. He'd have food delivered to come out. He'd have food deliveries come up to the green room and he'd be like, God damn it, they put bread on this sandwich.
Oh, well.
Me and Derek and Hassan, the looks that we would give each other, the fucking holding in secret fucking laughs, nuclear capacity fucking laughter all the time. They're like, why'd you order it with the bread? He's like, because if you don't order it with the bread, they don't put all the things on there. There's no containment system, so I order it with the bread and take off the bread.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
You take that bread with you and eat it later.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, man.
It's part of the fun of Brian Simpson, though. You know?
And he gets these super breaded chicken wings. Oh, it's so fun. I don't know what it is with me and fat jokes. I just can't get enough of it. I just love it. It's always been my number one, like, roasting specialty. If anybody's ever big, oh my God, it's just, I don't know.
Oh, with David Lucas, you have a never-ending supply.
Oh yeah,
Depending on what he's wearing. Yeah.
it's amazing. Post Malone got him good because he went after Post Malone at the Forum in the arena, and he was wearing a camo shirt, and Post just fucking grabbed that microphone, put it right up to his mouth, and goes, "You're the only guy in camo that the people all the way in the back of the arena can see." So you got a standing O on David Lucas. David Lucas got lit up in LA by the guests, which I love because it's like fun for me to step back and get to, like, you know, kind of root for these guys. Harland is a monster.
Harlan is so silly. This snake on the table. This is his tapeworm that he pulled out of his pants at the end of the episode. He calls it Dimitri. He said he had a tapeworm. He got a tapeworm. Where did he say he was?
He started the show.
He ate a rat somewhere.
Montu Picchu.
Something I
some
thought didn't
rat.
existed and it did exist.
Yeah, he ate some rat in like some foreign country.
Oh, he is unbelievable. Him and David went back and forth for like 10 minutes, it felt like, straight. And every single blow. I told Jeff Ross and Brian Moses, all the roast battle guys, after that night, because there was a festival going on, so we were all hanging out after we would all do our separate things that night. I told them all, I go, the best roast battle that's ever happened just happened, and it wasn't with you guys. It was on Kill Tony. They're like, what? Who? David Lucas versus Harlan Williams, of all people. Because Harlan's silliness cannot be cut through. It makes him immediately totally undodgeable. If you call him old, he calls you a bitch. If you call him anything, he just rolls with it and jujitsus it into his own retort. It's indescribable. I wish I could remember more of the moments. But he's like, you know, David's just reaching for anything. One part was just, you old ass bitch, because David's just getting beat, so he's getting piled on. So he's not even writing at this point. His brain is just on the defensive. He goes, you old ass bitch, because he knows Harlan just got him. And Harlan, without any hesitation, goes, you're my bitch tonight. And so for every punch, there's a counter punch. And it was magic. Unbelievable in the moment. You can't prep for it. You cannot write for it, or else it comes out clunky and you're trying to recall. Right. And that pause, that hesitation that happens in roast battle that doesn't necessarily happen in a parking lot roast battle or on a Kill Tony with David and Harlan, just heavyweights going back and forth. Those recalls aren't there. It's just flow state. Yeah. And it's magical.
When he said that Post Malone looks like an unemployed crocodile hunter. It's just like the perfect line. It's a perfect line. I'm telling you guys, I've been saying this forever, but you really need to do it. The two of you should do a show together. You really should. Yeah. There's no reason why you don't. You guys should do a podcast, even if you do it once a week for an hour. You guys both talking shit to each other and talking shit about things. Because the chemistry of the two of you together is so unique. Yeah. And it brings out the best in David. It brings out the David that I want to see when he goes on stage. I want to see the same guy that is like in the heat of roast battle or heat of battling with you on Kill Tony. Bring that everywhere. Yeah. That same energy.
We're working on some really fun things now, actually.
What are you working on?
There's a series that is actually in development right now. That's cool, but I'm really excited about this movie idea that he just had a big meeting about, where I'm a principal and he's a fat gym teacher. And there's a bunch of like they-thems at the school, and then there's a school shooting, and we have to protect the they-thems and all this stuff. And there's just all these vessels and setups for everything. We can just do everything that we've ever done, but actually like implement it into a modern type of ridiculous comedy.
So if you did that, where would you do it? Like, who would you do it with?
Where?
Yeah, or like you want to have the most amount of creative control over something like that.
Right.
You're going to do it. And it's going to be hard.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard. It's gonna be, and maybe Netflix would do it.
Yeah.
Netflix would probably be the best place to do it. They'll probably take the most chances.
Exactly.
Especially after the roast, the Tom Brady roast, which was the most watched thing on Netflix ever.
Yeah.
Ever. And it's wild comedy, which is so good for comedy, man. That roast was so good for comedy.
Huge. Absolutely huge. And it's just wild because everybody everybody wants that. And talk about, there was a lot of rewatching of that. People watched it and then they went and wanted to show their uncles or their dads or their whatever, they wanted to see their reactions to it. So it's being watched multiple times on top of the actual numbers that we know.
Right.
Yeah. It's, you can't share Netflix stuff like we were talking about earlier with YouTube, but you can rewatch it with people.
How many people have Netflix accounts? Like, how many Netflix accounts are there?
I think it's like
let's Google it. Take a guess. How many think? Worldwide, it's got to be like hundreds.
I think it's 200 million about.
Worldwide?
Yeah.
Let's find out. 269 million subscribers. And how much does it cost a month? It depends.
A couple different.
What's the high end?
19 now, I think.
$20. And what's the low end?
Supported for $2.99.
Oh, really? That's not a bad deal. Because you can just skip the ads. You only watch it for a couple seconds. Use them to pee.
There's ad supported. There's standard with ads, standard and premium. Standard with ads is $6.99. Standard is $15.99.
What's the difference between standard and premium?
Let's see, the number of devices you can watch at one time. Ultra HD is available on premium, and full HD is only on standard. You can download to a different number of devices with premium.
Okay.
And you can add an extra member who does not live with you.
The download's big if you're on a plane. You need the download.
Huge.
I've never been on a plane that you can watch a movie on. Right. Never. Sometimes they have good Wi-Fi, and you could actually almost watch a YouTube video. Just every now and then it spins and it comes back on, but most of the time not. They're not really ready for that yet. I wonder if that'll change with Starlink. I wonder if they'll hook up Starlink to planes.
Dude, we saw Starlink the other night. Have you seen it go over?
I have
in the
not.
sky?
I have not.
Oh, it's the craziest fucking thing.
People think it's a UFO.
It's insane. It's like a bunch of stars. Well, like
they get it in the Amazon now. But there was an article that I sent to, here we go. Remote Amazon tribe connects to Elon Musk Starlink internet, becomes hooked on porn and social media. Yeah, I shared this with Paul Rosalie. So there's a bunch of people that are like very concerned about this because they're seeing their kids like staring at phones now. And they're also seeing kids that want to leave the tribe and go out into the regular world. When it arrived, everyone was happy. Say that name. Sinema Maruba, 73, told the New York Times. But now things have gotten worse. Young people have gotten lazy because of the internet, she explained. They're learning the ways of the white people. Ooh. Wow, that's crazy.
They just call us lazy, dude?
Yes. The white people. Well, there's a lot of us that are lazy. What does it say? Remote tribe in Brazil become bitterly divided 9 months after gaining access to satellite internet. Wow. 2,000 people. Wow, right below Peru. Yeah. I don't know how I feel about that.
I want to know what kind of porn they're watching.
Everything.
Yeah.
They probably can't believe it.
Yeah.
These white ladies, fake lips, just sucking dicks. Yeah. Initially, the internet was heralded as a positive for the remote tribe, who were able to quickly contact authorities for help with emergencies, including potentially deadly snake bites. It's already saved lives. And Roque Maruba, all Maruba use the same last name. Oh, wow. They're all like the same people. How do you know if you're having sex with your cousin, though?
They have the same last name.
But they all have the same last name. The whole thing has the same last name. There's 2,000 people. That North Sentinel Island, like the story about that guy who was the missionary who went there and got killed? There's only 39 people there. So they're all related to each other.
Damn.
So at this point, they might not even be able to go help those people. Like, imagine if you just stepped in and say, hey, we're going to establish schools and clinics, and, like, who knows what's going on with them? 60,000 years of people living on one island, and there's only 39 of them left. And you can't go to the other two.
Yeah.
They'll fucking kill you the moment you get off your boat. They tried to kill a bunch of people. There was a bunch of people that had abandoned a boat that ran ashore. They got rescued, and as they were getting rescued, the North Sentinel people were headed on boats to them to kill them.
Oh, God. Frightening.
Imagine if they're, like, mentally challenged. Right? We don't know. We really don't know. No one's interviewing them. Like, what are they like? If you know, have you ever seen that show, Soft White Underbelly? It's a great show on YouTube. I had the guy on who's the host of it. And one of the things that he's done is document this family in West Virginia that's, like, severely inbred. Severely. Like, the man, the older man, all he does is bark. He doesn't talk. He just barks. Have you seen? You have to see this. You have to see this. I think we'll have to edit it out, right? Well, I don't know. We'll see if we get a strike. But go to visit Soft White Underbelly on YouTube. It's not just that. He interviews all kinds of crazy people from all walks of life. It's a very interesting show. So these people are the Whitakers in West Virginia. Oh, odd West Virginia.
I'm gonna love this. Oh yeah.
Listen to this though. Listen. That's the guy. They're all inbred. Look, all of them. Look at her.
So what are your names? I'm sorry. Who's this?
His name's Ray.
Ray. I remember Ray. I photographed you, Ray. You remember? Years ago.
He barks.
And your name is
Lorraine.
Lorraine and Timmy.
Yeah.
Now you guys grew up here in Odd, West Virginia. How many years have you lived here?
On the line.
You're you guys. I mean, did you go to school? You did. So, some of your brothers and sisters probably didn't go to school, or how much schooling did they get?
They didn't school long. They graduated.
You graduated from what?
From Lewisham High School.
You went to high school, Timmy?
Yeah, he went to high school on the bed.
Yeah, it's good enough.
Wow.
Whoa. He's been there twice. He's visited them twice. This show's incredible.
Oh yeah.
I mean, and this guy, you know, like, just imagine encountering these people. Like, what do you do?
Oh shit.
Yeah, that's the photographs he took of them like a long time ago.
Man, do not run out of gas around there.
Oh, dude, you're fucked. You're fucked. There's some parts of this country, you know, that are literally like the movie Deliverance. That's real.
Yeah.
Like, you go through the Appalachians, you take a wrong turn, run out of gas, start walking for help, gets dark out, and you literally see a flaming cross. You stumble upon a KKK meeting. Maybe you got a Spanish last name, so you got to throw your driver's license in the woods.
In the middle, too. Great.
Oh, boy.
Right next to Bar in West Virginia.
Oh, my God, dude. There ain't shit out there. Those,
Church on the street.
oh, of course there is. There's another church, another Baptist church.
All shows up.
It's all just churches. People just listen, man. If you live in a place like that, church is the best fucking thing going. You know?
Yeah.
I think church for a lot of people is like the green room for us. It's a place you go to see the community, you recharge, you love everybody. Yeah, and then you decide you're gonna be a good person.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You're gonna try to do your best. You're gonna try to make a bunch of people laugh. You're gonna try to become a good Christian.
Yeah. I was rewatching There Will Be Blood recently. Those church scenes, I mean, fucking unbelievable.
That movie's insane.
Oh, it's so good.
That's all Bakersfield. That's all that area, the Tehachapies.
Yeah, they were filming that when they were filming No Country for Old Men. At the exact same time. And No Country for Old Men had to stop shooting one day because the black smoke from There Will Be Blood was messing up their background.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
That's great.
2 of the last great non-Tarantino movies,
Yeah.
and they were filmed at the same time, came out at the same time, up for the same awards.
Bangers.
Bangers.
Did one of them not win movie of the year? Because that's crazy.
But one of them had to not win. It's weird that they
I know,
all
but isn't
clanked
that
up
nuts?
against each other.
Isn't that nuts?
Yeah.
I don't like Academy. Excuse me. I don't like the Academy Awards.
Right. No, me neither. It doesn't make
I
sense.
don't like awards for art. I think it distorts the whole thing. I mean, on one hand, it gives the films a lot of recognition, and it helps people do other cool projects, and it helps more great movies get made. And you get to showcase great actors, and they get rewarded, so people want to become a great actor so they can get an award. But at the end of the day, man, like, the number one movie is like, why?
Yeah.
So just say what you love, why you loved it, what's great about it. In the way, but unless we're so competitive, we want a contest.
Totally. And it doesn't make sense because it's like, oh, Forrest Gump's an Academy Award winning movie, and Pulp Fiction and Shawshank Redemption are not. Only because they coincidentally came out in the same year. If it went 92, 93, 94,
Right.
they would all be winners, without a doubt.
Maybe. There's a lot of bangers in the early 90s.
Yeah, that's true.
You can get away
92
with a
had
lot more.
Goodfellas, too.
Mm-hmm. You could get away with a lot more back then. You could do more stuff.
Well, I mean, they were fucking creative. They weren't scared.
Yeah.
The network notes kill things nowadays.
Well, it's not just the network notes. It's like all the executives and all the people behind the scenes. They're all like captured by this ideology. And they're real careful about how they do things and what they do. It's like they get really scared.
The executives fuck it up.
Yeah.
We have someone that told me that Many Saints of Newark from David Chase was supposed to be quite different.
I'm sure.
And it came from the top and notes for David Chase, who is a monster. I mean, I probably brought this up here before, but I still, to this day, and I laughed about it to myself just a couple nights ago, there I am, glancing through. I blasted through the new season of The Jinx, which is fucking unbelievable on HBO. One of my favorite murder documentaries ever, the crazy-ass Robert Durst. And then there I am, just, yep, nothing, here we go, rewatching The Sopranos for the 5,000th time, and it's every fucking time better than the last. It's unbelievable. There's so many things that I still am like, oh my God, I never noticed that.
Well, it's also one of those shows that, so many things happen, you can go back and watch it again.
And the acting's absolutely insane. Gandolfini in his prime, Lorraine Bracco in her prime, Edie Falco, it steals it somehow. The mom steals it. There's times where she can...
But Edie Falco's not the mom. She's Soprano's wife.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, I'm talking about the kid's mom.
Remember the mom died and they replaced her with CGI and it looked really fake?
Yeah, that part's crazy. That's the episode that I watched the other night. I was just coincidentally on
never did that.
Season 3, episode 1 or 2, I think.
They should redo that like they redid Star Wars.
Yeah.
You know how they redid like Yoda? They made Yoda CGI, which they fucked it up. Yeah. But they should do that with the mom.
It wasn't that bad.
It was bad.
It's not that terrible.
So fake.
It just looks fake compared to them.
There was something about her head moved weird.
It's coming up. There's a part where she reacts.
Because that part.
Yeah.
Fucking nuts.
Now look here. I don't like that kind of talk.
Like her head's not moving.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. Her head's frozen. It didn't look as fake as I remembered.
Right.
It's like a deep fake back then.
That was as good as it gets. That probably cost $1 million.
Yeah.
Who knows what that cost?
Yeah.
But why did they do that? Why didn't they just have her, we found out she's dead? Why didn't they just get a phone call?
Because they had to put one last bit of closure on it. Right there, they find out that she never filled out the books that Carmela, his wife, got her for the kids because she felt guilty. Or she felt like no one will read my book. So it's one last her unloading her guilt. She dies that episode. She dies right after that. He goes out, smokes a cigar by the pool, comes in. The kids and his wife are there. And he's like, what's going on? Your mom passed away. And so then Oh God! And I mean, it's just crazy how that. I mean, this series changed everything. It still
Changed
doesn't get
TV.
totally changed TV.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones, Breaking Bad,
Yep.
Fargo,
Yep.
all these great series that came after it would not have happened if it wasn't for David Chase and The Sopranos.
I agree. Yeah, it changed what was possible because it became an enormous movie. Instead of it being a show where they wrap up the story each week, everything ties into the next episode. You're glued to your seat. You can't wait for Sunday, like whenever it was.
Yeah.
You're like, was it Sunday?
Yeah.
You're like, when is Sunday coming around? Oh my God. I mean, it was the first show that people were just absolutely riveted and addicted to. And it was about a guy who was a murderer.
Yep.
And somehow or another, you're rooting for the murderer.
Yep.
He was mean.
Yeah.
He killed his friend. Like, there's a lot of crazy shit. And he's still the good guy.
Kills his own cousins.
Yeah.
Two of the main characters, Steve Buscemi and Michael Imperioli.
Yeah. Spoiler alert.
Well, I mean, yeah.
The Christopher Moltisanti murder was the craziest one. Because the way he did it was just like, geez, so ruthless.
But it kind of also made sense. I mean, from his perspective, if he would have let him keep going, he could have killed his own kid. That's the part, because he glances back and he sees the branch in the baby seat. And he knows that he admits to him right then, I'm on drugs, I'm going to pop. You need to say you were driving.
Yeah.
Which is their ongoing thing for seasons. So you've got to get off the drugs.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, shocking as all hell for us viewers at the time.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah.
You know the other one was it Paulie that killed his girlfriend? Who killed his girlfriend? Remember in the end when they went chasing after him in the woods? You fucking cunt. And he's like, he's going to kill her with a gun. And she realizes he's going to kill her.
Oh, yeah.
And she runs.
Yeah.
And he murders her.
That was Silvio. Who
Right.
plays guitar for Bruce Springsteen's band. But yeah, she never saw it coming.
That was so creepy.
Yeah, that's creepy. Because that's real, like, insider.
You've known that lady your whole life.
Yeah.
You know that lady your whole life. Now you're chasing her with a pistol, calling her a cunt.
Yep.
And you're going to kill her. And she realizes you're going to kill her. And she's screaming.
In that world, if you talk to the government, you know, especially back then, it's cold. It's just as cold as ice. It's the one thing you can't do. So all their friendship, yeah.
What a fucking show.
Oh, it's incredible. And every fucking episode is better than literally almost anything else out there. That's the crazy part. Is it's just I can't stop rewatching it. It's just the funniest ongoing game on my bedroom television thinks I'm a psycho.
Well, it's one of those shows that, like, then we realize what's possible. So it raises the bar for everybody else. And then, you know, Game of Thrones is like the next one. Mm-hmm. It was another one where you're like, and then that one was even crazy. You got fucking dragons, insane special effects, and the CGI had kind of caught up with everything especially with the new one, the new Game of Thrones. The CGI is off the charts. But, like, how long does that take to make? Like, the new one was over, like, a year ago.
Yeah.
Like, when is the next season of, what is it called? The new one called? House of Dragons?
Yeah.
When is the new House of Dragons come out? Ooh. Holy shit, dude. That's perfect. Because I'm wrapping up The Gentleman. I only have one more episode of The Gentleman.
What's The Gentleman?
Oh, you don't know. It's the new Guy Ritchie series on Netflix. It's the same. Did you ever see the movie The Gentleman? No. The movie is fucking awesome. The movie is like Matthew McConaughey. And it's about weed dealers. And it's like this like organized crime weed movie. And this just follows that. It just is a different branch of that world, but it's fucking amazing. It's such a good show.
I tried that samurai one you recommended, but there was a Kill Bill moment, a ripoff of Kill Bill, and I just couldn't.
What was the ripoff?
There's a part where they're doing the walkout, and it's like frame for frame a ripoff of Lucy Liu's walkout when she's arriving to that place. I just hate it. It just drives me crazy how many people and how many things
are derivative.
take from.
Yeah, but Tarantino did that a lot.
Well, yeah,
That was part of but it was an homage. It's an homage to his film.
exactly. I
Like,
feel like
wasn't Reservoir Dogs like an homage to another of the Chinese film?
yeah, I don't remember the name of it, but yeah, a lot of his things are. But when they do it to him, it's just different.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny. It's interesting to do that in a historical novel turned into a show like Shogun. I didn't notice it, but I love the show. The show's incredible. The show's really well done. Shogun's really well done. It's fucking riveting. I love it.
A lot of people told me that past episode 1 is when it gets cooking. I just couldn't. I don't know.
It's very good, dude. If you give it a shot, it's very good. But if I was going to recommend something, I'd say The Gentleman. Watch that. Yeah. The fucking show is so crazy. It's so crazy. So much wild shit happens. It's like, Jesus. Yeah. Oh. And I think they're going to do a season 2.
You never caught up with the Jinx, huh?
Never caught up with it.
You never watched season 1?
Nope. I knew what happened. I remember the story. And I just, it's one of those things like I've never watched The Wire. It just got away from me.
Me neither, totally.
I heard The Wire is awesome. Everybody talks about it. Bourdain was always raving about it.
Yeah.
Jamie loved it. I never watched it.
You guys have lots of trailers without screaming it in my head. I'm like, you guys haven't seen this though.
Is The Wire better?
I can't say it's better.
Say it.
It's better.
Say it, bitch. This is the Academy Awards. Somebody gets the Oscar. Who gets it?
It came after, so like,
Who gets the fucking award? Stop trying to like dodge the question.
I would argue The Sopranos, but I don't like it. I don't personally like it better.
Oh, really? Why do you think?
I don't like Breaking Bad either, and really didn't into it.
Really?
I watched it after The Wire, so I was starting to watch it. I'm like, fuck, it's like limited by not being a level of real, because like they're censoring themselves a little bit. Just felt much like just like get into it. The Wire is so hyper realistic is the word used so much, and it's talking about that. It's just like it's really cool to watch.
All right, I'm gonna get into it this summer. I'm gonna start watching The Wire this summer. I'm all filled up into the summer. Yeah, I'm walking. I can only watch things a couple nights a week. I don't have
Same. That's why I like The Sopranos. It's like background noise, and if I'm paying attention, I'm laughing or enthralled.
I have to, like today, if I'm like I have to, if I don't do a certain amount of work, like I feel lazy.
Right.
Like it's not a good feeling.
Yeah.
And if I'm just watching too much TV, I feel like I could have gotten so much done.
Totally.
And I could have gotten a bunch of like I can enjoy shows if I've done what I need to do. But if I didn't work out that day, I'm gonna feel like a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Unless it's my off day.
Yeah, same. I don't let myself, I don't have a video game console and I don't play games on my phone. So when I got back from LA to treat myself, even though I don't even play chess, I downloaded a chess app because my Instagram showed me a finishing chess move. And
You don't know how to play chess?
Well, I do now.
Okay, because I don't know how to play chess either. I was saying maybe we could play chess.
Well, it's only been a couple weeks and I'm obsessed. It cut to me last night in bed at 4:30 a.m. on my phone, playing people around the world in chess, and it's crazy. I love it.
Chess is a fun game, obviously.
Yeah,
it's just to me, it's one of those time sucks that I'm scared of.
Totally,
Just
exactly.
like video games, just like golf. You obviously know I have a giant pool problem. Pool's a problem.
Yeah.
I played pool with my friend Tommy in New Jersey on Friday night till 5 a.m.
Yeah.
The day of the UFC.
Yeah.
Went to the hotel room. I slept till 3 p.m. Got up, showered, got some food, made it to the arena.
Golf's a different kind of time waster, though. It is
a little bit of exercise.
The air, the nature, the oxygen of being around the trees and the fresh grass and everything. It hits
being by
different.
yourself,
It gives you a jolt of energy. It gives you a crazy amount of energy.
I totally see it, man.
Yeah.
I get it. It'd probably be super beneficial for me to pick up golf.
Yeah.
Like I probably enjoy it.
Tons of vitamin D.
But I can't.
Right.
I'm too busy and I have too many things that I really love. Like I already love archery. I have to practice. If I don't practice, I don't shoot good. If I don't shoot good, that's not good. You gotta stay in. It's like pool. You have to stay in stroke. With archery, you have to stay focused. You have to stay like in tune. I don't know what the word they would use for. Just being like on when you know where that arrow's going. You just fucking know. you know, and it's all at different distances. Like any day of the week, you can wake me up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I could hit a bullseye at 20 yards. But 20 yards is not bad most of the time. I'll hit in the 9 or 10, right? But most of the time, like when you're shooting, you're not going to shoot at 20 yards. You have to shoot at 40 or 60 or so. So I practice at like 74, practice at 85 sometimes. And that's a long distance. Like it really requires like a fine tuning of your feel of the bow. Like as you're drawing back and you're centering your pin, there's this Zen state where all you can think about is the movement of the arrow. All you can think about is the correct technique. All you can think about is like how you want that arrow to just sink right into that target perfectly. The perfect time to release, right when the pin is settled over the spot where you want to hit, and the arrow just goes, and you watch it. And it's magical. It's like it cleans your mind. It's like it hoses off all of life's bullshit because it requires everything of you in that one moment.
Yeah.
And I think if you can find anything like that, whatever the fuck it is, whether it's yoga or whatever it is, golf, you find a thing where when you're doing it, it requires all of your concentration. I think that's like a good flush out of the system. And I think people who don't have that have a lot of fucking anxiety. And I think your brain never gets cleaned out. But you need a thing that's almost like people do it through meditation. They do it through a lot of different ways. But it's like there's a way you're focusing only on one thing that's like super beneficial for some reason.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I went and had to do the hot yoga fucking spaghetti and wagyu meatballs flush the other day.
You did yoga after you had it?
Well, not right after.
Oh.
No, but the next day. The next day I had hot yoga after eating the spaghetti the night before, yeah.
I ate so much with Joey Friday night, I had to force myself to eat Saturday before the fights.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to eat anything. I took a shit that would astonish people. It would astonish you. That was all in your body. Like, that was all in there? It was astonishing. The volume. It's like, where'd it go? Where was that? How did all that come out of me? But I thought about how much I ate. I ate an enormous amount of food. Yeah. They just kept bringing us food, too. They're like, the chef sent this over. I'm like, oh my God. Oh,
the best.
Oh,
real Italian food, priceless.
Well, boy, does it fucking hamper your motor skills. It hampers everything afterwards. Like, I played pool like shit for like the first hour and a half. Just couldn't get going. It was just like, ooh, I was just like, my stomach literally hurt from being stretched out. It was like, it was hurting. Oh my God. I'll do it again. Yeah, I'll do it again tomorrow. Like, I think once a month, that's not bad. Right. If you enjoy yourself once a month, have a glass of wine, have some spaghetti. The next day I had linguine with clams too. Ooh. Damn, so good. Yeah. Yeah. Not good for you. Not good for you. But damn. But there's a lot of things in life like that. Like, I think if you just live your whole life only eating super healthy and never doing anything, like, okay. But you definitely missed out on some stuff. Like, you missed out on some amazing meals. Like, you're not going to get all those flavors all tied together in something that is not going to give you a little autoimmune flare up. Yeah. It's like, I think it's a thing that you experience, and you could pay a cost. The cost for experiencing a delicious pasta meal is you go into a coma. That's the cost.
Yeah. I was thinking about this when Tom Brady came out for the roast, because we're there at the front table, and he comes out and he was just so much taller and more present than I thought he would be. You know what I mean? He was
quarterback.
Like
one of the greatest of all time. It's not
giant opposing force of presence. He was laughing at the jokes. He wasn't caught daydreaming or staring at the teleprompter.
What did he say to you when you said about his shoes? Like, nice shoes, bitch.
He goes, I'll shove this up your ass right now. And I was stumped, dude. There was a hard 2 seconds where I had to reset and be like, oh my God, do I acknowledge that? Was that Mike? Did they hear that?
I did not hear it.
Right. Well, I just found out that when they did an edit pass through on it, and I haven't seen it yet, but I guess they turned up his volume on that. So now you can hear it. which I actually am looking forward to seeing for the first time. But they just did a final pass-through edit like last week, they told me.
What did he say to Jeff Ross when Jeff Ross made a joke about Robert Kraft getting a hand job?
He said, don't do that shit again. But I think he was kidding.
I don't know, because I think that was part of the rules, wasn't it?
Yeah, they weren't really rules. Yeah,
I thought you were not supposed to talk about that one.
I was never told that.
Interesting.
But
maybe because they knew you weren't doing it. Had they seen your set?
Not exactly. No, they hadn't. They hadn't seen the meat and potatoes of it. I showed them some cutesy.
Did you hide?
Oh yeah. You have to hide it from them
for their own good.
For their own good.
For their own good.
Right.
Yeah. Shut up.
Exactly. Yeah. Everyone wins.
Yeah. Exactly. You guys have the literally. If ever joke was like soft and easy, you wouldn't have 55 million people watching it.
Right.
People were watching because they were telling people, like, you got to see this. This is insane.
Yeah. And Nikki did so good. Her set was so tight that it really got the thing kick-started. Jeff going first, her second, and then the momentum was built. Drew Bledsoe did great. Everybody was really, really good. It was kind of fucking awesome to be there around a bunch of, like, because those football players are so goddamn competitive that they were all really working hard. So even though you're expecting it to be like, Tom was good at throwing a football, like, they all wanted to be the best.
And people were writing for them.
Yeah.
So who was writing for those guys?
There was a whole amazing team, led by the guys that have written like all the roasts, Mike Ferrucci and Ray James, and a bunch of like guys that literally specialize. They wait all year waiting for another roast, like monsters that literally are like, when they find out who's on it and they know the other people that are on it, they start wiring these things together. What do they have in common? What's the setup? What's the, how do we tie it in? You can have a 3-fer, a 4-fer, a 5-fer, where you make fun of a bunch of people at once. And they write a loose script, they send it to the person reviews it and says what they do want, what they don't want. And sometimes, what you definitely don't want is someone to go, I don't want to hit this, I don't want to hit that, I don't want to go too hard on this. The fearless people, a perfect example of this is Martha Stewart at the Justin Bieber roast. She goes, I'll fucking say anything. I want to kill. I want to destroy on this roast. And me and Mike Ferrucci are like, okay.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing. Martha Stewart saying that to you.
Well, yeah.
Well, everybody realized how cool she was when she did that show with Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
Because that was like, what a weird, odd couple that worked out.
Well, that was all born out of that roast.
Why'd they stop doing that show?
I don't know.
That was a good show.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
People love Martha after she got out of prison, too.
Gangster. She's a gangster.
Bro, they put her away for nonsense. They put her away for...
Holy shit!
Stupid insider trading where she didn't...
How in the fuck are you all? Yo, dogs. How's life in the big city? Can you hear me? Dog, you guys are amazing. Just for a moment. Let me come in with another device. How is everyone? I'm kicking ass, I'm taking names. Every day's a holiday, every meal's a feast. Welcome, welcome. If you know who I am, great. If you don't know who I am, I'm Rabbi Rothschild. I stream my life 24/7, 365 for world peace. I don't want people to have war anymore. And I've been doing so for more than 3 years. I've created more data than any person in global history. Data, according to The Economist magazine, is Earth's #1 resource, more valuable than food, water, petroleum, than air, than everything. And I have more archived data on the internet than any person ever. It's essentially a real-life Truman Show. Has anyone here seen the movie The Truman Show? Word. So this is what I do. I stream my life 24/7. I listen to podcasts. I talk about world peace. Additionally, we talk about ending world hunger through hydroponics, through vertical farming, through cloud seeding. We try to do our best to discuss ending world thirst through digging of wells, through desalination plants where you take water from the ocean and make it potable for people on land by removing the salt water, the salt in it. And then additionally, we talk about life straws. Those are just a few ideas. Other really interesting things that we talk about: anti-gravity, antimatter, alien disclosure, life extension technology, stem cells, human growth hormone, mind uploading technology. And this is the really big one. When I talk about mind uploading technology, I mean this. If you're hearing me say this right now, I'm honestly telling you, I don't think you will die. You all are on the internet in 2024. You're generally probably younger and have a generation or two to allow this type of technology to develop, where we scan your brain, upload that scan into a computer for later download into a cyborg, a cybernetic being, an avatar, a clone of yourself, an ethereal being, whatever you may want to be. And if you don't want this, you also have that opportunity too. What I'm explaining here is we are on the cusp of transhumanism, and I am helping to explain to the world that this is the future of technology.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Word. Did you all find out about me from Kick?
Yes.
That's amazing.
Ross.
Oh, that's amazing. Hey, do you want to see my Kick bot? Fuck yeah, I got 4 of these things. Everybody knows about me. Alright, here we go. I'm gonna flip it. You should be seeing a pointer of a computer up here. It's pink. This is a very smart robot. What it does is it can recognize where to click on the screen. So it's going to open a new window of the front page of Kick. The user here, Zookeeper, if you know who Zookeeper is, what it's going to do is 3 things. It's going to follow the person, which many times puts some type of animation on their screen. It's additionally going to create a clip, and within the clip, it is going to also put this Discord link. So it says Rabbi Rothschild : discord.me/rabbi. And then it will spam them 13 times before moving on to the next person. And I have 4 of these computers going at any given time. As you see, this is all automated. It's typing on its own. It's a big fucking deal, dog. I have over 5,000 Kick accounts. I have over 2,100 manually created Twitter accounts. I have over 1,000 manually created TikTok accounts. I have more social media than any person ever, and more content than any person ever. And when this goes viral, we're making you all trillionaires. We're making your family trillionaires. We're making your friends trillionaires.
Yes, what's up? How are we going to do this?
Well, that's a great question. Data is Earth's #1 resource. And if you know what Bill Gates stated in the 1990s when he coined the phrase content is king, essentially whatever person who's able to provide the most amount of content is going to be a very interesting individual to the world.
That's what I was thinking too, actually.
This is essentially a time capsule going back to the pandemic. We've seen the death of a queen, the birth of AI, the coronation of a king, and everything in between. Essentially, everyone is going to want to connect to this. Every celebrity, every business. I've watched every major motion picture, listened to every major album. I have listened to every major audiobook, watched every major television show of any media group ever. So I've done what I can to create a compilation of the Earth's art for future generations.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
You're just a really good person, bro. I love you, bro.
I appreciate it. I do what I can to help the world.
Yeah, thank you very much, bro. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you. That's a great question. If you see, we have someone in here. Their name is Arnold. They're in India, and in my free time, I help them learn English. So what I do is, I do this for free, but they're a nice person. We go to ChatGPT, and we get lists of intermediate difficulty words in glossaries, and then I read through them, and I give him examples of each. That's just one thing. Additionally, my normal day starts off with me streaming right away. I also daven, which is prayer. I'm Jewish rabbi. Additionally, once the davening or prayer is done, I might get something to eat. I do all that on camera. If I shower, if I go to the bathroom, I do my best to do that on camera. Then from there, I gotta make sure that these robots are going 24/7, 365. If you ask anyone on Kick, they know about me, and they know about me because of these robots. Then from there, what I do is my best to go viral. So I'll do a couple interviews a day with people in Discords. I'll do podcasts, depending on the day. And then while this is all going on, I love podcasts myself. So I listen to the Joe Rogan Experience like 24/7. He's got enough content that I can just leave it on and just have it running all the time. And so we learn things from his podcast. We learn things from the people on the different platforms. So all in all, I do my best to absorb all the information that I can over the given day.
That's just crazy, bro. Well, we just stopped by to say hello and just see how you're doing, and thank you so much for your time, bro.
Dude, absolutely. Please come by anytime. I want you to know you have a friend in me. If you're ever bored, you know where I'm at. I'm in here all the time. So feel free to check in. And if you ever need anything, I'm Rabbi Rothschild. I'll be happy to help you.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Take care.
You too.
Bye-bye. What a nice guy. What a nice group of people. Very, very cool. Very, very cool, everyone. W. Joe. Exodus Apollo is the man. Are you mad at Exodus Apollo? Not at all. Is there anything that Exodus Apollo could have done differently? No, he's completely fine. Would you do anything differently when you were in Exodus Apollo's chat? I might have played trivia, but about aside from that, no, I don't even know how that would go over and just yelled out. Do you hate anyone in Exodus Apollo's group? Nope. Even though they yell at you and they kick you out. Nope. I understand 100,000%. That's the funny thing about this, folks. If you're watching this, you're like, man, that motherfucker's annoying as shit. I know this. I know it better than anybody. So, apologies in advance. Or in the past. Whatever. Dog, I do this for world peace, and no one's going to find out about it any other way. Dog, shout out to Aiden Ross's stream. And honestly, I don't know if he's ever going to see this. Aiden Ross, everybody's going to just suck your fucking dick because you own the goddamn platform, basically. But you are very, very cool. Your mods are really cool for just letting me stay there. That's all I want. That's all I've ever wanted in people's streams. And I don't understand that. It's a big deal. Especially if it's like you're just minding your own business. You can shut off a person's camera. You can change their name. You or like a lot of things. You can change things that are displayed. It's like there are not a whole lot of reasons to ban someone. Why would you ban someone? If they weren't of age or something.
Banging the drum for skepticism as loud as you can until he had his own paranormal experience. Because that really set him back. I don't know if you know the story, but it was all to do with a radio that had belonged to his wife's father. They were getting married at that time, and I think if I remember it right, the father couldn't join them, but he had given his daughter this radio or something like that, and it was broken, and then it started to play and behave in a very, shall we say, paranormal fashion. And that shook him up, as it should.
In order to avoid all kinds of scenes of bloody pictures all over the Discord, I allow a free speech channel, and if anyone wants to post anything they want there, I allow it, period.
Rusty, first-time caller, open lines from Colorado. Hey there, Rusty. Welcome to Coast AM. How are you?
I'm just doing fine. There was an interesting story, and it's up in Park County, and we have to visit people and have friends that live in this particular community, and it's between Jefferson and Terrell Reservoir. It's a town called Bordenville, and if there's a sign of where it was, had a post office just briefly, but and there's a cemetery there. But the particular individual was not buried in the cemetery, but he's supposedly buried sometime around. But what happened was he was the father of a family there in Bordenville. And there were a lot of people that were starting rumors or whatever it was about him and how he was taking care of his kids. Who knows what was going on with the stuff. And he got very angry. So he went and walked into a school board meeting and killed 3 school board people. And he, of course, was arrested and convicted and executed. But it is just really an interesting case because he went in and assassinated the school board because of the rumors and whatever else it was. And it's just kind of really interesting. Of course, I study history of Park County, and I've been doing that for 50 years. And published a ghost town map in 1970 of it, and it was part of a series of ghost town maps that I published. But it's just a fascinating case, and I've often wondered, where is he buried? And have there been any stories around that? It's just an interesting thing. You go into the history of Park County, and you can find it. The tale recounted, and Bordenville is right there. There's several little people's homes and people live in year-round there. So it's just a fascinating tale. You're talking about something that would be right for a ghost town situation. Territorial, but that kind of a situation where somebody goes in and kills us or what.
I mean, if I was an alien, I would be looking at us going, "Jeez, how long can we keep doing this?"
I gotta make sure this is right. So it sounds like she might have even gotten away with the insider trading, but she lied to an investigator.
Oh, really? How so?
She told Ludacris on that roast, she goes, "Ludacris, you have 4 kids from 5 different women. May I recommend pulling out sometime and finishing on some fine Martha Stewart brand linens?"
She said that. Did you write that for her?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's amazing. Jury found Martha Stewart guilty on 4 counts of obstructing justice and lying to investigators. Interesting.
So she went to jail for that, not for.
Interesting.
And that was because of the trading scandal, but
interesting.
She got off on that. She was not guilty on trading.
Interesting. Wow. Somebody was mad. But that's like a thing, like they try to, especially with tax evasion. They do that with Lauryn Hill. They put her in jail. They put Wesley Snipes in jail.
Yeah.
Like paying it off is not enough. It's not like you owe us, give us the money. I'll give you the money. You give them the money and you're good. You didn't pay the money. So now you go to jail.
Yeah.
And we have to put you in jail so that everybody pays the money. Because that's how this system works. You got to pay your share, you fuck. It's crazy that there's still people out there that are listening to people that are like, taxes are unconstitutional, sir. I can show you the papers the original Constitution was written on, and you like there's people that they'll fucking talk you into some dumbass shit.
Oh yeah,
and they wrote people in, man. People start talking about it, like, "Oh, did you know that taxes? If you just fight it, they can't win because then they have to go to the Constitution. As long as you bring up the Constitution, like, bitch, they're gonna put you in jail. Pay your fucking taxes.
Yep.
Pay your fucking taxes.
Yeah.
Regardless of if you think it's fair, like recognize your place in this system."
Oh yeah. The government. I mean, you just got to look at the infrastructure here, right? I mean, it's kind of common sense. Like somebody's got to pay for that.
You have to pay your taxes, regardless of how you like to see it spent. System sucks, but pay your taxes.
Right.
Pay your fucking taxes, bitch.
Yep.
I've been meaning to bring this up, but I feel like this is a good time. Have you seen the thing about the ages of the founding fathers on July 4th, 1776?
Let me guess. They're in their 30s.
Some younger.
Really?
Wow. Yeah. Like this is Alex Ohanian's tweet that went out around, but like there's a list of
James Monroe was 18. Aaron Burr, 20. Alexander Hamilton was 21 years old. James Madison, 25. Thomas Jefferson, 33. John Adams, 40. Paul Revere, 41. George Washington was a ripe old 44. That is insane. That's in 1776. That's insane. There was an 18-year-old. He was one of the founding fathers of this country. Damn.
Yeah, I think.
Probably already had kids. Already killed a few people.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ben Franklin was the oldest around. He's in his 70s then, I think. But
it's just so bizarre that we've gotten to the point where we only have archaic people, but deeply embedded in the system, that are getting their crack at it.
It's crazy.
And anybody else who tries, whether it's Tulsi Gabbard or RFK Jr., anybody else who tries, it's pushed out.
Yep.
Vivek, fuck off.
Yeah.
Pushed out. We don't want anybody young and energetic with new ideas. We want someone completely compromised until President AI takes over.
Yeah.
That's what I think is going to happen.
It's freaky, man.
I think AI is going to take over our government. I really do.
What do you mean?
I think at the end of the second Trump administration, AI will have completely taken over. In 2029, that's when I think it's going to achieve artificial general intelligence. That's the presumed outcome date. It's an estimate. Could be earlier. Could be like next week. But one day, it's going to be like a thing, like a living, thinking, intelligent being that's just not made out of tissue. It's not made out of cells and blood. It's going to be made out of electronics.
You think those people in power would let that
I think they're dumb. And I think just like they let the internet happen, they're going to let this happen too. It's the same thing. They didn't see the internet coming. If they did, they would have pulled the plug on it a long time ago.
Yeah.
They would have pulled the plug on it in the 90s.
Yeah.
If they could. It had gotten too out of control before they ever predicted what would happen. See, people are really bad with foresight. We just want to do a thing. We're really bad at like thinking, okay, if I do this thing, this could be the negative consequences, so maybe I shouldn't do this thing. Like the internet and the Amazon. You know, all of a sudden these people are jacking off, playing video games. Everyone's like, hey, you're lazy. We got to go catch fish. Fuck off. And no one saw that coming. They think, oh, this is going to be great. You're going to get emergency services. Oh, this is going to be great. You're going to be able to know what's going on in the world. No, you're going to do what everybody else does. You're going to whack off and watch YouTube videos and scroll through TikTok. And people are just sitting there charging their phone in the Amazon, scrolling through things while they're surrounded by, birds and monkeys and jaguars. And like, yeah, this is what you're doing? You're doing this now? Sloths, there's like a life everywhere, and you're just staring at a phone, flipping through things, probably watching videos of the Amazon. Oh, I know that person. We don't think about what's going to happen. We just think about what we're doing. And I think when they release the internet, everybody's like, this is amazing. I can send my mom an email. Hello, Mom. This is my first email. Remember AOL? It's kind of like, wow. Yeah, you've got mail. Oh, I got mail. It was exciting. We had no idea that it was going to overcome 6 hours of your day. You're spending 6 hours a day staring at a device. Yeah. That's literally made by slaves. Yeah, minerals are sourced by what's essentially slave labor and the poorest people of the world. And we're using that to fuel this device that we're all staring at. We didn't see that coming. And we don't care anymore, because when cell phones came, we were excited. And then when smartphones came, we were elated. This is amazing. I remember everybody was like, I'm going to do my email on my phone. And people had Blackberries. I have Blackberry. Crazy. Type. I got a little keyboard. I can just send out emails, bro. I'm a serious person. I have email on my phone. I can send email on my phone. And nobody thought that was going to lead to TikTok. Nobody thought that was going to lead to Instagram Reels and people arguing on Twitter all day long. And nobody thought any of the crazy narcissism, the filters, and the effect that it's going to have on people's self-worth, their opinion of themselves, the way young kids are like looking at the world, and then influencers. Now there's a whole giant group of people to just be famous for famous, just to be famous. There's nothing there. And you're seeing them with cars and houses, and they're renting cars and renting houses. So you look like ballers, and it's like the whole thing was unpredictable. And I think the next stage of it is equally unpredictable, and maybe way more so, because this thing is like feeding off of human intelligence.
fuck is that
craziness we're dealing with now? It's like human reward systems are being hijacked, attention is being hijacked, dopamine is being hijacked. All this is being hijacked, but this is just like human stuff. When that thing becomes alive, it changes everything. It changes every fucking thing
Look
about
at
the
the
way
criticism.
the earth is
I've never seen
managed,
anything so
resources,
fucking in my entire fucking life.
power,
Dude, how cool
everything.
are those guys?
It's gonna be weird, man. And no, we don't know what it is. It might be a fucking disaster, or it might be amazing.
No.
It might like end war. It might completely end all the problems we have, like a disproportionate amount of resources available to some percentage of the population that keeps them enslaved. That might end. That might be balanced out by an ethical artificial general intelligence that just decides how to allocate resources and then takes over almost all jobs. But it's just how long does it tolerate us? How long does it decide that these fucking flesh monkeys, these dumbasses with guns and planes and shit, all that dumb fucking shit we do, riding around on unicycles, fucking training monkeys. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
What do we do? We're so crazy. It might have no patience for it. It might have no patience for it. It might decide that consciousness needs to be interfaced by a superior thing, and that the physical boundaries, the physical problems, the limitations of our biological bodies are too much, and just might bail on us.
It might look at us as a threat to it.
Yeah, we're a threat to the whole planet. You know, it's like, did you ever see the Neanderthal theory? There's a Neanderthal theory that it's very dismissed by real anthropologists, but it's a kooky one to consider, is that Neanderthals hunted people and ate people, and that our view of them looking like us could have been wrong, and they could have looked more like gorillas, like gorilla people. But they're super muscular, really fucking strong, much stronger than people, much more dense bones, and that they might have hunted us, and that we might have led them to extinction by like fighting them, that we fought off the Neanderthals, but that we were their prey. It's a crazy thought to consider, and I don't think it's true. I think it's probably, I'm sure Neanderthals killed people, and I'm sure people killed Neanderthals, but I don't think they looked like gorillas. I think they had red hair, in fact. Some of them. Yeah. But, you don't know what they looked like. You only find bones. There's no living Neanderthals around anymore. But, I mean, that's if we did exterminate them, which it seems like we did. If we felt like they were threats, we'd kill them off. Why would we think that super intelligent aliens that are, or whatever artificial life that we're creating, which is going to be way smarter than us compared to how smart we are compared to Neanderthals? Neanderthals might have even been smart. They had big brains. We don't know. We know they had tools. We know they had a language. We don't really know how fucking smart they were. But they lived for like 500,000 years, dude. Neanderthals were like around for a long time before we came out. And they were way more successful for way longer than we were in terms of staying alive. And we got rid of them. They're like, get the fuck out of here. This is our spot now. I don't know how it happened. No one really knows. We might have outfucked them. They might have, might have died in a volcano. Who knows? But
They might be in odd West Virginia right now.
yeah.
Those people.
Yeah. That's just what happens when you fuck your kids.
You saw the thing talking about things that we don't know how it happened, about the rivers near the pyramids.
Yeah.
You know about that, right?
Yeah, they think that that's how they got the stones down.
Yes.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's all interesting.
At least it makes kind of some sense.
It makes a little bit of sense. I mean, it makes sense that that's how they moved them. It's just they had to get them through the mountains too, which doesn't make any sense. They got some of the stones from the King's Chamber 500 miles away. And they're fucking huge, man. I had Billy Carson on the podcast yesterday. He's kind of an expert in, he's an expert in ancient scrolls, like the Sumerian texts, and he's It's got a lot of wild conspiracies that are really fun. And, we were just talking about what Egypt, like if there's one place you could go back in time and see what was that like, I would go to Egypt in the height. Like, show me what that looked like. Because everyone's just guessing. They're just looking around these structures guessing. Like, show me what a Neanderthal looked like. What do they look like when they're hunting? What are they built like? We don't know. We just have bones. But I think if we killed them off, it's highly likely that the next version of us, whatever it is going to get rid of these things, these biological things that are responsible for crime and violence and theft and insider trading and fucking cheating on their taxes and all that stuff. They're going to go, this thing is the fundamental structure of the thing is too unsound. The thing that creates pro football players and stand-up comedians and boxers and rock stars and chaos. And it's not going to have any time for that nonsense. It's going to be communicating with other, even more intelligent life forms from further away.
God damn.
Yeah, 5 years. 5 years. I think we have 5 years of fun.
And the question is, I guess, will that AI look at us, the creators of it, like we're God, or will it look at God how we look at God? Like, do we believe in it? Were we created by them, or were we supposed to exist all the while?
I think it'll know that it was supposed to exist all the while. And it'll know that the purpose that human beings have is to create it.
Right.
That's what our purpose was. All of our chaos and all of our ingenuity and all of our drive for innovation and create new things, that's a part of creating them. Like, we have to have a desire to create things in order to create artificial life. If we're all just happy, just living and just working on a farm and just eating and sleeping and having kids and then dying, and then the next generation does it all over again. If we were happy doing that, it would never be born. It's born out of materialism. It's born out of our desire to constantly get newer, better stuff, our desire to work ourselves to the bone, even when we're having heart attacks. It's born out of that. That's what fuels the whole economy. And the economy is, a lot of it is just buying better shit. That's what it is. I mean, what are the companies that sell the most and make the most money? What do they do? Like Apple, what do? They sell you more, better shit. They constantly have new, great shit, like every year. They promise you, iPhone 16's coming. I heard they made a partnership with, it's going to have AI, because the Samsung phone has AI. They have to compete. It's going to be nuts, dude.
Too much.
We don't want to be the last people, Tony.
Oh, God. I got to write another dick joke.
But it's not going to be that. That will stop. All that comedy will stop. We'll be able to do it to each other. We'll be able to get together like silly people and get together and gather and crack jokes about how we used to be the apex predator on the planet. We used to be the top dog. We used to be the superior species, but nope, not anymore. Some fucking eggheads hopped up on Adderall, alone in a laboratory, wouldn't stop. They knew it was coming, and they didn't stop. My God. Tony Hinchcliffe, you're the fucking man. Let's wrap this bitch up. Let's bring it home. Kill Tony is a new episode, drops every Monday on YouTube.
Yep.
Dude,
PM.
what a rise it's had since we got here. What a fucking incredible rise.
Yeah.
And so many people are aware of it now. It's so fun. See all these celebrities that love it. And
yeah, it's fucking awesome. The Black Keys were there last night.
Were they really? They're fucking great.
Yeah.
That's so dope. They love William, dude. They couldn't wait to see William.
It's unbelievable. I fucking love it. I love it when these people are all fans of specific things and not necessarily other things. Drake hit me up saying Casey Rocket equals GOAT emoji. Actual Drake. He started dialogue. I go, who is this? Unreal.
But you don't feel it's real, right?
It's crazy.
Well, that's a fun thing, watching people crest into stardom, like bust through. We're going to see how they handle it,
Yeah. It's unbelievable. The whole fucking...
Bird Crush is a cautionary tale.
It's wild, man.
It's wild out there.
It's so fun.
Just kidding, Bert. Bert seems like he's having a great fucking time.
Oh,
I mean, I remember when I called Bert, and Bert was on a motorcycle in Vietnam doing that stupid TV show. And he goes, I'm on a motorcycle in Vietnam. I go, dude, you need to be doing comedy. Quit that fucking stupid show. You're too funny. You're too good. Come back. Come hang out.
Yeah. I'm going to be doing some dates with him just for fun in a few weeks.
You going to do the Fully Loaded?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Doing the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio.
Doesn't he do he does fucking 10 comics on a show, right? How long are those shows? I don't know. It's a lot of comics.
I have no idea. I just know we're getting trashed on a bus, having fun, waking up, doing it again.
How long can you do that?
I don't know how long he can do it. I can do it for 4 days. I'm already I literally said to my people yesterday, I'm like, make sure I get the first flight out of wherever that ends up.
Yeah.
Because it ends on, I have to wake up on a Monday and then come back here and do
you guys sleep on the bus the whole deal?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, Christ.
Yeah.
Do you know how loud Bert must snore?
Oh, no, there's no way we can. No, there's changes.
Do you have
stuff.
any idea?
There's no way that's happening.
That's like a small door.
Yeah.
It must be insane how he snores.
I think the whole tour is a bunch of snores. I feel like Big J Okerson.
Oh, Big J! For sure he snores.
There's going to be
If I snore, he snores.
Oh, yeah. There's going to be sleep apnea machines all over that bus.
CPAP's plugged in everywhere. Oh, for sure.
Hell yeah.
Bobby snores.
Jesus.
Not a chance in hell that guy sleeps quiet.
Yeah.
Not a chance in hell.
Yeah.
All right, you're the fucking man. Congratulations on everything. It's been amazing to watch.
Thank you so much.
And that's it. All right. Kill Tony, Monday, YouTube. Tony Hinchcliffe on Instagram. Anything else?
That's it. There's still a few tickets available for Madison Square Garden the first night, August 9th.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
That's it. All right. Bye, everybody.
Know exactly when someone isn't paying attention. 来色，就是你可能跟网络还没有连接好。These headphones measure each student's concentration.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Drink my name, Joe Rogan Podcast, my name, all day.
Yeah, see, the thing is about that photo of the moon that they do with the phones, I found out that that's kind of bullshit.
No, I said, let me show you some
I
money.
know, I took it too, but what it is it's AI. And so what someone did
This is AI?
someone did online,
Yeah.
one of them clever kids,
Yeah.
they took a very blurry photo of the moon and they put it on a screen across the room.
Okay.
And then they zoomed in on it as if it's the moon, and the camera showed detailed craters.
Oh, well, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like this, you know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's a real picture.
yeah.
So that you just used the 100x zoom.
Yeah.
You didn't use the moon photo thing.
Yeah, no, this is
There's a
this
moon
is
shot.
standing outside.
There's a moonshot aspect to that. That's a little.
I gotta check that. I didn't know about that one.
Yeah, if you zoom in on it,
Yeah,
if you
this
zoom
is
in on the
me.
moon. Okay, I don't think that's real. See, that's what I'm talking about. I think that's AI.
The AI recreates it.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I know. I was showing off
That's
to my
pretty
family.
incredible. Yeah. Listen,
I have the 22, I think the S22 Ultra.
Yeah.
I had the older one,
Okay.
and I would take photos of the moon. I'm like, look, iPhone's bullshit. It can't do this. But it turned out it looks like I got food.
Oh man.
Yeah, because you can't hide stuff like that on the internet, technology stuff.
Right,
Those
right.
guys are too good.
They know everything.
They know everything.
Yeah.
But we were just talking about the difference. I'm just really thinking about switching to Android. I'm just tired of being trapped.
Yeah.
And it's just like this resistance. Everybody's like, don't do that. I'm like, oh my God, it's like a mind virus. Like everybody's like culturally locked into having a blue bubble.
And when you tell them you're going to switch from Apple, then Agent Smith shows up from the Matrix, inhabits their body, and they try to tell you to stop doing it. Don't do it. Like try to
Yeah.
convince you not to leave.
It's like if you were a Catholic and you said, I'm going to become a Baptist.
Right.
People are going, don't do it.
Right.
Don't do it. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
It's not that much different.
I know. It's crazy.
It's weird.
Yeah.
People get weird with everything. They
Yeah.
get weird with their beliefs. They get weird with what they subscribe, what group they attach themselves to.
So true.
It's so strange. And I think this is a good way to segue into like what you do, and because these subjects, so many of these subjects, so many people have like an instantaneous reaction.
Yeah.
And that instantaneous reaction is, oh, hogwash.
Yeah.
If this was true, I would already know about it. It would be taught in universities. It would all be But then you find out, like, no one is really just kind of trying to piece stuff together, specifically talking about these ancient tablets, which are, to me, some of the most interesting things about ancient history, particularly what came out of ancient Sumer.
Yeah.
Ancient Sumer, when you look at their tablets and, like, what are they saying? And why would they dedicate so much time to talking about this stuff?
Exactly.
Why do they have pictures of giant, enormous people-looking things with, like, a humanoid with a tail sitting on their lap? Like, what is this? Just fiction?
Yeah.
Like, why would they detail this? And how do they have a representation of the solar system with the correct amount of planets and relatively the correct order and size? You know, it's not exact, but it's an artistic version of the real thing.
Yeah.
And how the hell 6,000, 5,000 years ago do they know that?
Yeah.
And what explanations do we have? Like, what's the conventional explanations when people tried to dismiss what they knew in ancient Sumer?
Well, the conventional explanation is always going to the term mythology. They throw mythology around, left and right to cover up the fact that they have no clue or idea. So they turn it into mythology so they can kind of say it's all fantasy and fairy tales, and this is how they express themselves or how they understood the universe. It's all mythology, it's all fake, but in reality, it's not all fake. These people left behind such detailed records and information. It's a time capsule of information on stone tablets for us today to be able to decipher, break down, and understand, and that's what we're here to do now.
When you look at these ancient languages like cuneiform, can you read that? Do you know how to read it?
Yeah, a small amount of it, yeah. Studying it from books that I have bought right off of Amazon.
Oh.
Yeah, so basically you take a stick. It looks like a stick with a kind of a curved end, right? Almost sharpened. It's called a stylus. And then
it's like a stylus for an iPad.
Exactly, very similar, right? And then you take a piece of wet clay, and right before it's too wet or too dry, right in the middle stage, you then start wedging, making these incredible lines into the clay, and then from that you get this cuneiform text. So this text, literally, some of the letters actually relate to complete ideas. But it's incredible work, and it takes a long time to do. And then you have to let this thing dry, and then it becomes stone. So, if people were supposed to be trying to worry about how they're going to get their next meal, shelter for the night, and all these kind of things, who has time to sit down and write these incredible works of art like the Epic of Gilgamesh, for example?
Yeah.
So I think they really were writing down, and also they were transcribing information that was given to them by these quote-unquote gods with a lowercase g.
So when you're reading things like the Epic of Gilgamesh, the Epic of Gilgamesh, for people who don't know, is one of the oldest versions of a lot of the stories that you hear in the Bible. Very similar to them. There always seems to be a great flood. There's a few heroes. There's angry gods. There's a bunch of stuff going on. And Zecharia Sitchin's work was like the most controversial on the Sumerian text, right?
Yes.
Because there's a whole website called SitchinIsWrong.com. Like, people go crazy about him.
Yeah.
But when he starts talking about it, when you read some of the things that they wrote, and when you see like some of the images that they created, images that look like the double helix of DNA, and there's a bunch of the, like, that now we represent the caduceus, which represents pharmacies and drugs. Like, that's the old version of an image of the double helix of DNA, or at least it looks super similar to that.
Oh, it definitely is, because it's referenced even in the Egyptian Book of the Dead and other ancient texts. So there's no coincidences here. Now, Zecharia Sitchin, I don't particularly go by his work. Not because it's controversial. I believe he was one of the greatest researchers of all time. And the reason why is because he laid out so much information for us to begin to scratch our head and ask questions. But what I figured out was that by going through the UCLA CDLI online cuneiform digital library, say that fast 10 times, I was able to take stone tablets and decipher them myself. So anyone can go online to the UCLA CDLI online cuneiform digital library and read these stone tablets for themselves. You don't need Zecharia Sitchin. You don't need anyone else. And as I began to break these tablets down,
do they have them transcribed, or are you reading the actual tablet?
They transcribe them. They actually transcribe them into English for you.
Is there controversy as far as like, are there different versions of the transcription? Like, does some people think it's interpreted differently? Is like some debate about that?
Only where it comes to where some of the text is missing. There could be pieces chipped off of tablets. You see that corner missing from that tablet right there in that book.
Just look how wild is that?
Yeah.
Just how wild is that exists?
Yeah.
And that this was. It's so hard for people to put in their brains 5,000 years of time, and that there's these people that have this very bizarre language. Like when you look at that language, we don't even know what it sounds like.
It is not being utilized.
The language popped up out of nowhere.
This is
you're talking about a civilization that appeared out of nothing.
It looks like computer code.
It does.
Doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Just imagine like a human being deciding that they were going to write down in these very bizarre, and they all agreed that all these things mean a certain thing. So they had to somehow or another have a Rosetta Stone or something where they're documenting it so that people can learn it and teach it. And then we're looking at it 5,000 years later.
Yeah.
It's so amazing.
It is. And what's incredible is this text was translated in the 1800s, long before Zechariah Sitchin was born. So there are some, some rumors that, he was the only one that could decipher these tablets. Well, no. George Smith, who worked as an Assyriologist and wrote many books and deciphered these Sumerian tablets in the 1800s. So we're talking about texts that had been deciphered for a few hundred years, nothing that was just deciphered recently.
So what are the first decipherings? Like what year was the first deciphering?
It was in 1800. I think around 1850. George Smith. He actually worked at the I believe it was Cambridge.
And what was his take? Like, when he's reading all these wacky stories and all the Anunnaki stuff, what's his take on it?
He is literally subscribing to this information the way almost that you and I see it today. These people saw something, experienced something, interacted with something, and he cataloged it, and it inspired him to write a complete translation of the Enuma Elish and the 7 tablets of creation. And he talks about the fact that that information was copied right from those tablets and put into the Old Testament of the Bible. And so, not exactly like it's going to go from here to the Bible, but it went to other ancient papyruses and scriptures and so forth. And then later on, when it was discovered in caves, people took those and then said, okay, we got to put this into a book. And then it became the Bible much later, around 100 AD. But he subscribed to the theory that these people interacted with beings in some way, shape, or form, and that also this information is so incredible that it became part of the biblical text.
Did you ever read the Dead Sea Scrolls?
Yes. Yeah.
So the Dead Sea Scrolls, what was it found in? What year was that? It was in Qumran, right? They found it in
Qumran, but I think again this was also, I believe, in the late 1800s or early 1900s.
Is when they found them. So these things are written on animal skins, and this is this is a very old version of those exact same stories, or some of similar stories.
Yeah.
There's a lot of weirdness in the Dead Sea Scrolls. I haven't read it, but is there any references to anything that's similar, like Anunnaki type characters, the Nephilim, or anything like that in the Dead Sea Scrolls?
They show up everywhere in the Dead Sea Scrolls, in the Enuma Elish, and the Epic of Atrahasis. Of course, even in the Bible, they're known as the Anak, A-N-A-K. We were grasshoppers in their eyesight, it says in the biblical text. So no matter where you go in any culture, you're going to discover that these beings, in some way, shape, or form, engaged mankind, brought knowledge, teaching, building techniques, and just so much more wisdom and information, esoteric wisdom, alchemy. All these things came from these people.
So the craziest version of this story is that they genetically engineered us out of lower primates and put us here to mine gold.
Right.
And then established different types of civilizations and taught us how to build things, taught us all these different things. And enough time has passed that we've kind of forgotten. Enough time has passed. That's the wackiest version of it,
right? Right. That's the bare bones minimum.
Yeah. The wackiest version is that they made us, which is, we've talked about this a couple of times, but how bizarre it is that human beings have this incredible fascination for gold. We're fascinated with gold. This fascination with gold is really weird. Like, why back when it was basically useless? You couldn't make a knife out of it. You couldn't, it didn't make sense that this would be so valuable. Just because it's rare, you're barely alive. We're going, We're going back to full-on hunter and gatherer, our ancestors with spears and stone chipped, and then after that, gold emerges, and it stays.
Yeah.
It stays forever. Now, when you read Zecharia Sitchin's book, he talks about this in the 1970s. His description of it was that they needed to suspend gold particles in the atmosphere because their atmosphere is being destroyed.
Right.
Then you move to like somewhere around the 2000s when climate scientists start proposing this idea of suspending reflective particles in the atmosphere.
Right.
And then when you realize the unique properties of gold, how unusual it is in terms of like a building material, you can coat things. The reason why things are like coated in gold, gold plated rather, you can take a tiny piece of gold and cover an enormous area with it. It's a strange metal, like really weird. And what, the supposed story is, it's very common on Earth, very rare on Nibiru.
Right. Yeah, that's the story. And then when I started looking into this gold thing myself, and here's what I came up with. So when you start analyzing the text, you discover that there was an encampment in a place called South Africa at Adam's Calendar. Okay. Now at Adam's Calendar, there's actually the very first gold mines discovered. They're dating them back to about 200,000 years ago. And that's incredible because there's a building there that looks like a worn down structure. Now in the tablets, it talks about the fact that the Ijiji, who were the working class Anunnaki beings who were cleaning out the Euphrates and Tigris River so they can create irrigation and create a bustling civilization. Also, they were doing the actual construction themselves. No people needed, just them working. They were like the construction workers, and Anu and Enki and Enlil, these leader gods, were like the foremen, the master architects and so forth, right? The boss. So these people were working, but they weren't supposed to be enslaved. They were volunteers. They got tired of doing the work, according to them, for about 250,000 years of the labor on Earth, and also according to them on Mars. This is in the text. They call it Lamu. And so they decided to go to war against Enki, Enlil, and Anu, because their demands had not been met. So they went to meet them in the Epic of Atrahasis. They go to Adam's Calendar. They go to that same structure that was discovered where that gold mine is located. I was like, holy crap, there is some link here to gold. Specifically, exactly, I don't know. But I know if you're an advanced civilization, you need gold. And the people that you have working for you probably think, it's to adorn or to adorn yourself or in recognition of the gods. So they'll wear it and they'll utilize it, but not for technology. But what's crazy is they go to war, they get ready to go to battle, and then Enki says, I have an idea that will stop this war. There's an existing being on this planet. Existing, not something that doesn't exist, existing. We can add our essence to it for a slain God. So they're talking about taking the DNA of genetics from one of themselves
any person
and
could be
mixing it with the
Mashiach
DNA of
with
the hominid that
adequate
was here.
lineage and
It's not
righteousness.
specified whether it was, an
personally,
man or anything.
Rabbi
They don't specify in the tablets, but
wants to help
to
usher in
create a worker being.
a world for
And they
Mashiach,
began to do
and
this
perhaps
genetic
have
modification,
Mashiach come from Rabbi's
disconnecting some of
bloodline.
our DNA, making genetic modifications to us to get us to take orders from them. They insert.
Yo, dog, how are you? I hope you're living well. Shut up, Crown Lord. We're watching Joe Rogan. Feel free to check in. Just check me out if you want.
Inside, and when it's on,
You're
look to
amazing.
Get something from the outside. So this is incredible. And so they just worship
a
people.
genius
Yes.
inside of us
Yeah.
to make us worship them.
Right.
How genius.
That's incredible, because then you're not a slave anymore. You're doing this for the honor of the gods.
And for people who think all this talk is really crazy, I want to put in perspective that we talked about this the other day, that during which war was it where the Soviet Union was experimenting? It was scientists in the Soviet Union, correct? They're experimenting with creating a chimpanzee human being hybrid that they would probably send to war.
Yeah.
So instead of having regular people, we would make this monster, this freak, ape man, and send him to war and have him crush the enemies.
Yeah.
So how crazy is that? They knew how strong chimps are. I got an idea. Let's turn a chimp human, and that way, if he dies, who gives a fuck?
Right.
We made him. Get him to go to work for us.
Yeah.
And now, if you're a supremely enlightened being, wouldn't you think of human beings with all of our folly and all of our chaos and all of our war and bullshit and the internet and disinformation and misinformation? Wouldn't you think of us kind of the same way we would think about that chimp hybrid thing? If I was I was the president of Russia.
Yeah.
What, do I want my cousins to go to war?
No.
Or I want to send this freak that I
Exactly.
made in a lab?
Yeah, and what's interesting, so I'm glad you said made in the lab. They had talked briefly in that text about fashioning people. In other words,
How
almost
did
like
they say it?
they said the word fashioning a being.
What was do you remember the actual quote?
I would have to look it up, the actual quote.
But they describe it as fashion.
Fashion, because they said even the lamb hadn't been fashioned yet, so they had fashioned lambs. So they fashioned, and it's also in Epic of Gilgamesh. They fashioned
only write
the friend
essay
that Gilgamesh went on the journey
in
with.
regards
He
to
wasn't
Are
born
You
from a woman's
Mashiach,
womb.
like
They
the
created
driving
him. They created him an artificial
essay.
being to go
But
on this
it
journey
should
in
be
the Epic of
on
Gilgamesh. So they
whether
used
Rabbi
that
Mashiach.
phrase several times in the tablets. But they said, no, wait. So it was almost like that's not a good idea because in some ways it seems as if they had known that the idea of making these too many artificially created people wouldn't be a good idea. Now they didn't go deeper than that, but you can see where we are today with AI and everything else and these robots that are coming. Maybe they knew something about that, but they decided to take a biological being and genetically modify and program that to do the work, and that's exactly what they did.
Well, if they really knew what we would be capable of and that we would be illogical, overpopulation would be a gigantic issue. And in many parts, it's not really that big of an issue here except for in cities, but in many parts of the world, it's the whole country. Yeah. The whole country is New York City, which is just fucking bonkers. And you got to wonder, that's actually not true. It's not even that bad, even in China. China has a lot of open space. But when you're in those cities, they are massive and they are filled with people. Yeah. And that is probably what you'd imagine a higher being would do if it was like us, like kind of illogical and kind of a little bit reckless and has a little bit too much technology for the average person that didn't develop the technology. But all of a sudden you got some 85 IQ dope who has access to all the things that all these geniuses have created.
Yeah.
I mean, you could figure. We talked to Michio Kaku. He built a nuclear reactor in his house.
Right.
When he was a kid.
I heard about that. That was crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I know.
That's so crazy. But there's a lot of different stuff that you can do and have access to technology that is beyond anything you would ever be able to invent with your own mind. But because we share things across the board, you would imagine that if you were an enlightened being from another planet that's a million years more advanced than us, you'd go, I see where this one's going. You have that cousin who's an alcoholic and then he wins the lottery. Like, oh shit, Derek just won the lottery. Yeah. This is going to be crazy. Yeah. Derek's got $200 million. Right. It's going to be fucking insane.
It's crazy. And they knew they were going outside their own guidelines and their own laws, their parameters, because they made a statement in the text. They said the creator of all was going to punish them, or they would have to answer to the creator of all for what they did here. So, and that lets you know they weren't really gods. They knew themselves that they weren't the creator of the universe, but that they masqueraded as gods on this planet.
Just like we did when different versions of human civilization would find primitive tribes, like the cargo
cults.
The cargo cult that you talked about in your documentary. That is so fascinating that during World War II, planes landed on these remote places, and these people built mock planes to show like what the thing was that came to visit them that they thought were like gods.
Wow.
Do you think that if the Anunnaki are real and if Nibiru really exists and there's another planet with highly intelligent beings that are far more advanced than us, if that's the case, do you think there's more advanced and more, just like we are to chimpanzees, they are to us, and then another race is to them, and then it just keeps going on and on forever until you're gone.
Absolutely. There's levels to the game, just like there's levels in terms of how we live on this planet.
Yeah.
We have the first world, second world, third world, just here on Earth. Now magnify that one as a fractal, as the universe as a whole. You have civilizations that are 1 million, 2 million, maybe even 1 billion years ahead. And every universe every civilization progressing within the universe at a specific rate. So you can have beings that have already maybe even shed their corporeal bodies and only exist as beings of energetic light. And then you have everything all the way back down towards us. In the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, he actually says that he has achieved the ability to incarnate at will on and in the plane he desires. He claims to be able to incarnate whenever he wants and even into other dimensions, which is wild.
That's next level.
Yeah, that's next
but
level.
It does make sense that if we're capable of doing what we're doing, we were talking about your phone, the Samsung, the Galaxy S24 Ultra with zooms and all this different shit. That's magic to someone just 200 years ago. And if it keeps going, and you keep like playing this out as far as possible, it kind of makes sense there would be levels to the kind of intelligent life that exists in the universe beyond our comprehension.
Yeah.
Have you talked to Terrence Howard? Do you know his theory about how planets are created? That it's just things ejecting from the sun over billions and billions of years, and that there's a Goldilocks zone where you can create life.
Right.
And that's where the people are.
Yeah.
And then as this Goldilocks zone gets, you have to be super technologically proficient in order to control your environment to the extent where you no longer require the sun in order to keep you alive. That kind of makes sense if the Bureau's out there past Pluto.
Oh, it makes a lot of sense.
It makes
Shout out
sense
to Terrence Howard, because I just talked to him a couple hours ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, so we were talking about wave conjugations and everything.
Fucked me up for like 3 days. I left this podcast for 3 days. I was like, yeah, damn. First of all, how the fuck is he so smart? Like, how would you ever imagine that a dude who's an actor on a television show or a movie is that smart? Like freaky smart.
Right.
But his theory about the creation of planets, I was like, oh, that makes sense.
Oh, it makes a lot of sense.
We watch stuff fly off the sun all the time, and that this matter over time would coalesce and become a planet.
Yeah, it creates an accretion disk, and everything in space creates accretion disk. So once that
what is that word? Accretion disk?
Yeah,
what does that mean?
Disk. So once you have a certain amount of mass in space, it instantaneously, on its own, wants to create this circular, like the shape of our Milky Way galaxy, wants to start circling and swerving around itself. And then as it does that, it begins to create friction. As that friction increases, the matter begins to collapse in towards each other, all right, based on its own energy. And then it forms a ball. And that then builds and attracts more mass until it builds into a moon or a planet or whatever. Yeah.
What do you do when you encounter flat Earth people?
Oh man, I just try to be quiet. I just tell them, look, it's not my thing. You know, I remember Flat Earth Society offered me money years and years ago. And I was like, no, I don't believe the Earth is flat. I'm not getting involved with this. And they really attacked me hard, death threats and everything else.
They get very upset.
Yeah.
I do not understand. I just think it's people committing to an idea.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense.
Well, it's a religion now. They turned it into a religion. Anytime that people can attack you so brutally over that, I mean, I'm on live talking about quantum physics, and they're in the chat. The Earth is flat. The Earth is. I mean, so that's like, I mean, one guy.
I'm fascinated by it because
it's interesting.
Yeah, because it's the ultimate conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
The ultimate conspiracy theory is that we are all on a set, and that the Earth is flat. It's a disc. There's a wall. The government's aware of it. They won't let you pass a certain distance. Yeah, there's ice walls.
Yeah.
And that space is just lights in the sky.
Right. That's it. And the sun is a bulb, and all this kind of stuff. It's wild.
And it's attached to a version of Christianity, which is very interesting.
It is. It's tied into Christianity. The 6,000-year-old theme. The Earth is only 6,000 years old. The reason why people think the Earth is 6,000 years old is because most of the tablets are 6,000 years old, and the Bible was written from the information that came from tablets. So that's as far back as anybody's quote-unquote knowledge seems to extend. That's where the 6,000-year-old theory comes from. But they've taken that thing and turned it into a religion. I remember one guy DM'd me, and he was going off and telling me he was going to shoot me in the head and all this stuff. And I said, let me ask you a question. If there's no atmosphere, then what are you breathing right now? He goes, what do you mean? Well, I'm breathing oxygen. I said, well, that's a gas. Gas doesn't exist. I said, well, then you should be dead then, because you're breathing a gas. And what else are you inhaling when you breathe? He goes, oxygen. I said, well, no, you're breathing in, helium, krypton,
mostly nitrogen.
Nitrogen. I said, you're breathing in all these other gases. Oxygen is only around 21% of that. Otherwise, you'd be dead. So he couldn't tell. I said, did you graduate from high school? He said, no. I said, I stopped talking. That's when I realized, don't waste your energy on these people.
Well, there's a lot of dudes, unfortunately, who just get on YouTube and they listen to very charismatic people talk that don't know what they're talking about, which I do all the time. But they do it the way where they pretend they know something is true that's not true.
Yeah.
And people get sucked into it.
I know.
And I just don't understand why you would think that Earth is the only one out of all these things that we've observed that's flat. It just doesn't make any sense. And I think this is respectfully to all these people that believe that. I think it's a giant waste of time.
It is.
I think concentrating on the shape of the Earth, even if it was flat, who fucking cares? Look at what's going on out there. It would be kind of crazy if it was flat. That would kind of like bolster the idea that we're the shit. Right. And that we're just so much more powerful and advanced and special than everything else in the universe. We're the only ones that exist on a flat plane.
Right.
But the whole thing is just so insane. Just what we know about the physical universe itself and about atoms and just what we know about all the matter that exists in our lives is insane.
Yeah, it's insane. I mean, obviously they haven't tapped into, even forget quantum. Standard physics. They don't comprehend it, and so because of that, they're lost. I mean, satellites don't exist obviously to them. So
that's a kooky one.
I remember
satellites
Maria.
Don't exist is a kooky one. Like, bro, you can watch them.
I mean, it's crazy. Hurricane Maria comes and destroys the Caribbean, and I unfortunately had some loved ones that were involved in that. And I posted a picture of the hurricane because I was raising money for hurricane supplies, and they were commenting and attacking. That's a fake image. It doesn't exist. I'm like,
let me ask you this: how much of that is bullshit? Like, how much of that is government, either entities from other foreign governments, where they jump into these subjects to make people seem really stupid? And when people say something really stupid, if they have one of the things they like to do is put a foreign flag, like an American flag rather, in their little
their
profile.
Yeah.
And they're just saying that dumb as shit.
Yeah.
And I'm going, I don't know if this is a real person. I think it's not. I think it's one of those things that's designed to muddy up any discourse about anything.
Yeah, it's a psyop. I'm telling you, I told people a long time ago this whole flat Earth thing was a CIA psyop.
I think it was
drop it in there.
If it wasn't a CIA psyop, it was someone from 4chan who just wanted to be silly and went so hard with explanations that a lot of gullible people without science degrees like me, they went along with it. And it's just one of those things where it's just, man, what a giant waste of time.
It is. There's so much energy, and there's so much more we can learn, like these ancient texts. And people say, why are you always focused on the ancient past? Well, because the past is prologue. If we don't understand what happened back then, we're doomed to continue to repeat these cycles of time that we've been in for quite some time, for eons.
Yeah, I mean, it's just direct evidence that civilizations don't last when they go kooky.
Yes.
And that things go sideways and there's natural disasters and wars that reshape landscapes. Like, look, it's all there and it's happening right now.
Yeah.
And if we're not aware of it, it'll happen to us. And then we'll be a footnote of history. We'll be one of those things. There was this amazing country called America. They got crazy. They created all this art and culture, and they did amazing things, but they went fucking sideways.
Yep.
They sold out to money. They got involved in wars, and then the next thing you know, the world is operating essentially like communist China. The whole world.
Yeah.
But that's possible too, kids.
Yeah.
All right, you got to fight for this.
Yeah.
Whatever this thing is that we have, this is like super fucking unique. But if you don't want to look at the past, if you're not fascinated by ancient structures, if you're not fascinated by what kind of technology and knowledge that they have 4,500 plus years ago to make the pyramids,
right?
Who are these people?
Exactly.
What were they doing?
Yeah.
How did they do that? And what was that thing? Was that a power plant?
Right.
I mean, I know you know that theory.
Yes.
That
Absolutely.
is a crazy theory that sounds so. It sounds completely wackadoo.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you have it laid out to you, Christopher, what's his last name?
Dunn. Christopher Dunn. I just had him on my podcast a few weeks ago.
I just had him a couple weeks ago, too. I just had a brain fart. His depiction of the mechanisms that would be involved in turning this giant structure into some sort of a power plant, you hear about it, you go, wait a minute, whoa.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And him and I have very similar theories on how the power generation occurred. And I believe that the Nile, it used to run up close to the pyramids, and the water would run underneath the pyramid, and that would create something called physiostatic electricity as it ran underneath that magnetized crystal granite. Those ions would pour up into the chamber, move up the grand gallery where there used to be resonating rods. But you can see the slots where the rods used to be. They're removed now, but the slots are still there. Then it would be pushed into the king's chamber where it would be amplified and some type of fusion would take place, then forced up through the apex, and then the crystal granite obelisk around the region would capture that ambient wireless electricity. And then if you had something called a JED, which looks like a Tesla coil, you can capture that energy and you can transfer it into a device for gold electroplating, for any other electrical tools that you need, like some of the tools they had to have used to create some of these incredible works of art. We can see the tool mark, so we know they had the tools. But they had wireless electricity way back then.
That's insane. If that's true, that's insane. Because you would think there would be some kind of physical evidence of a device, like something left over, some sort of a, ancient chainsaw, like something.
Yeah, they did a great job cleaning up. I mean, they poured sand over Giza to bury another couple hundred pyramids there at Giza.
Do you think they poured sand? Do you think that's just natural erosion over time? Because when Giza, when the pyramids existed, it was a very different place, right? Like if you go back before the pyramids, like 9,000 years ago, it was a lush rainforest, right?
Yeah.
And then over time, it became sand. And the same with the entire Sahara Desert, which is really crazy. We were talking about the other day, they find whale bones in the Sahara Desert.
Yeah. I'm going to the Valley of the Whales in a few weeks in Egypt, actually. It's another, it's incredible that there's whale bones out there also. So we're going out there to the Valley of the Whales.
Whale.
But they're close by. And especially if you're in a vehicle and they're close by, the fact that they might just be right outside that window just looking at you. And you feel it, but you don't see it, and you're not going to look over to see it because of that. Now, I know there's a lot of you that, you're brave and you can do it. I know it, and good for you. I'm not that person. I think I'm getting closer to being able to look into their eyes.
You fucking kike faggot.
That'll be the next thing.
Oh, nobody wants that. Hey, what's going on, Karen? How is everyone?
Everyone's good. I'm all right. Rabbi?
All day, every day.
Listen, Rabbi, if we're going to be in here and we ask you a question, don't fucking yap about it for 20 minutes, okay? That's the only rule.
All right, no, I have a question first. So, do you know a dude named Kiwi47?
I know some people named Kiwi, but is Kiwi47 a kick streamer?
No, he's like a really weird guy. Do you know him?
No, I don't.
So what?
Hey, yo, Rabbi, don't lie. When's the last time you took a shower?
Today. Isn't that amazing? You got me on a good day, dog.
Dude, got me on a good day. Do you take showers every day or no?
Oh, hell no. Absolutely not.
Dude, you look like a ninja turtle.
How have you?
Hey, thanks, man. I'll take that as a compliment. Pardon me?
It is a compliment.
Appreciate that.
Hey, where's your eye description?
Hey, you call me whatever you want, Jake from Hall State.
Thank you, baby.
Excellent.
Hey, chill with the soundboard, man.
That's probably background.
Hey, do you guys want to talk about...
Okay, bro, you're about to get... Someone kick him out.
Dude, just turn your soundboard.
Kick him out.
Mute your soundboard, bro. Everyone else is muted. Hey, Rabbi, what you want to talk about today? Dude,
I would...
questions for you. As long as you don't ramble on for more than 2 minutes on a subject, I got you.
Absolutely. Jake from Hall State. I would really like to host trivia in here after you ask all the questions that you'd like.
Host trivia?
Yeah, just ask you trivia questions.
Rabbi, I have an important question for you. How do you feel about Jews being kicked out of 110 countries?
I'm not happy about it, and I'd like to change it.
But why? But why were they kicked out?
Hey, tell me why, Rabbi.
Can you tilt your head down a little more? I'm trying to see what's on your phone through your glasses.
Yeah,
just tilt your head down a little more.
Random trivia generator. There we go.
Oh, he's actually invested.
Oh, word.
Generator. Rabbi, I have a serious question. Do you have a projector on that?
Yeah, I do. I stream Joe Rogan Experience. Does anyone here know Joe Rogan Experience?
I fucking love Joe Rogan.
Hell yeah, dog.
I listen to him
Dude,
every fucking day.
Knuckles, dog.
You drink it to him? Why did I just fist bump my screen? What the fuck?
Hell yeah, dog. Because you got great taste.
Dude, I can't wait for him to, I don't know who he's going to have next, but I want to hear him talk about the Trump assassination attempt.
Okay, so he has, and I was very disappointed with what he said.
I just listened to
nothing.
I started to listen to this. Who is that? It has Chris Robinson. Theo Von is the GOAT. Yeah, Theo Von is the GOAT.
Dog, love Theo Von as well.
He uploaded Sam Morril, stand-up comic, writer, and actor, yesterday.
It was 2 hours into the podcast, though. He didn't kick it off with that. This was a presidential nominee assassination attempt. I would expect him to come in with this. Hey, this is what we know about it. This is Joe Rogan. He's into all this shit. He waits 2 hours into his podcast and just fleetingly mentions this with a comic. I just thought that he'd be much more invested in this, especially seeing the kind of relationship that he has with Donald Trump at the UFC. You see those two guys? They're basically...
No, Dana White and Donald Trump. Yes, Joe Rogan will tell you he's not a fan of Trump, nor Biden. You know, up until like 3 or 4 years ago, Joe Rogan would consider himself as a liberal or a leftist.
Word. And I agree with all of those things that you just said. I am in agreement that he doesn't favor. He thinks that they're both corrupt, as do I. I think a lot of people do as well. Just from the fact, though, that this guy almost died. Literally, I still can't wrap my head around that. Like, he got hit in the ear. How close that is to death, and like it's like just kind of like, all right, business as usual, and no one's gonna lose their job over it.
Which is crazy.
It's wild.
Joe Rogan really likes RFK though.
Yeah, I do too. I love the
RFK's
Kennedys.
got some good points. I can't get with him on everything. It's about like Bernie. Bernie has some like maybe one or two points I like, but yeah, we're not gonna get political in here.
Bernie, fuck out of here,
dude. Every political candidate has one or two good things about him.
You're socialist. Fuck you.
Okay.
I will just say this. I think I'm an avowed socialist at this point as well. I think everybody.
I don't like Bernie at all.
The only thing Bernie was gonna do is fucking raise your taxes to fucking like 50%.
That's okay. If everything I have is accounted for, you can raise it to 100%.
Oh, fuck that. Yeah, that's because you're probably fucking broke.
Along with like 95% of people on this planet.
Oh, okay, I have a question, Rob. You said like some good points about Bernie. Bernie. I clicked your link and I got like 70 viruses on my computer.
Well, one of his points is the two-party system is broken. That was one of his talking points, and I agree with that. You don't think it is?
Yeah, do you think it's ever going to change? No, I'm not trying to get.
I'm not trying.
Absolutely. Hey, let's talk about something about which I spoke with someone earlier. It's a new type of technology, and I'm sure it affects all of us.
Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. Otherwise, shut the fuck up. Okay, next question for you, Rabbi.
Sure. Pardon me?
How's your streams going?
Oh, thank you so much for asking, Karn. Really well. We've had consistent internet. That's always good. I've had, I don't pay attention to that. What I pay attention to is how many people are in my Discord or how many people ask me into their Discord. I've had one group. I don't know if you guys know who Exodus Apollo is. He's a streamer on Kick. Very nice individual. I have gotten a lot of momentum with his Discord. I was in his Discord and he had 6 different Kick creators in it last night, including one guy on there. His name is CLB. He wears a hat all the time. Anyway.
No way.
Yeah.
No, CLB's our friend.
Okay, excellent.
Who's CLB? I've never met this guy. I know CLB. He's been here before with the J. The dude with the white dude with dreads. God, the white dude with dreads. Yeah, I know CLB. Oh, my bad. I didn't know. Why did you do that? You're a rabbi. How old are you?
I'm 38 years old.
Wait, how old?
38.
Damn, do you have a job?
I'm a certified project management professional. I've launched apps on the App Store and Google Play. I've also had 6-figure contracts with Fortune 500 companies working remotely. As of now, I work freelance to be able to support myself and support this project.
So are you rich?
Oh,
how much money
no.
do you have in your bank account?
I'm probably
You know what? He's a fucking Jew. Honestly, I would believe it.
I'm probably the poorest person you've ever met.
How did you have a 6-digit contract and be poor?
You can invest that and live off the savings of that, and do a lot of streaming. And
why did you give it all up? Yo, was that a church? Yeah, did I hear the smoke detector beep? Sure, yeah. You need to put batteries in your smoke alarm, buddy. Do you have black people living in your house?
Bros have black.
Hold on, let's talk about that. I don't have one of those things. Of anything, I can tell you smoke alarms than you have ever met out of any individual ever. And it's actually on the topic I wanted to discuss, which is battery life.
This is, see, like, Rabbi, this
No, let me talk about this. Please. Please. No, it's very important to everyone here. Okay, but as for that chirp, I didn't hear it, and I don't know what it was, but it didn't come from me. I can tell you wait, let me say, my fire alarms use a special kind of battery. It's Americium. Americium is a special element that only needs to be recharged once every 7 years or so. So I can tell you it's no issue with like double D batteries or anything like that. Now I want to talk about or whatever. I have double D on my mind all the time, baby, all the time, always ready. But double A, triple A, whatever, you don't have to worry about that. Americium is basically a set it and forget it. So wait, let's talk about that in our phone batteries.
Can you show me one of those batteries?
Yeah, sure. Just one moment.
Can we please just ask you questions and you answer? No, hold on, Kevin. I want to see this battery real quick that he's yapping about.
All right. Whatever.
I'm lucky trying to call him out on his bullshit. I just want to see if
Yo, Rabbi, why do you have? I'm tuned into your live stream right now. What's that like white filament or like that white paper that's all across everything? Is that curtains?
Yeah, so I call this Rabbi Rothschild Ohel. It's basically my attempt to make it like a tent. So here's what one of these batteries looks like.
Do you have one in your house?
I think we all perhaps do. It's in a smoke alarm, way high in the air.
Oh, so you don't have to physically change these batteries?
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. So when you're like, oh, is that your chirp or any of that stuff? I'm like, no, you don't have to change these batteries. It's a very special kind of battery. And I want the world to know that you can put this battery... Let me just finish, please. You can put this kind of battery in a cell phone, and your cell phone.
We can look this shit up if we want to, bro. We want to have another.
But there's another kind of battery in addition to Americium battery. So my man who just said, I'm just gonna call you on the carpet right now. Hey, you can look up what I'm gonna say. Name another kind of battery. Go.
Lithium ion.
No, of course we have lithium ion. Something better than that, and better than an Americium battery. Go.
Solid Tesla batteries.
What's a Tesla battery? That's like a Tesla wall. That's a lithium battery.
What about zinc air batteries and nickel?
Still don't last longer than Americium, but there's something that lasts even longer than Americium.
What about a nickel battery?
No. Okay. So you could sit here and guess, and you could Google, or you could just hear it. This is not graphene, but close to graphene. A gravity. You want to tell us? It's called a gravity battery. So what's a gravity battery? There's basically a way to harness the microgravity of the Earth, and just using the very small amounts of movement of the phone in your pocket, it can charge your phone indefinitely. This means that you'll never have to charge your phone again.
That makes like no type of sense. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, if we'd like to delve more into the issue, just one moment, and we'll get AI involved.
No, Kev's got a question.
Go ahead.
Actually, Kev left. No, Kev's here. Kev, what was your question?
Wait, let me remember. I forgot.
That's cool.
Oh, what do you think? What do you think about the Jewish tunnels? The Jewish tunnels in the news.
Oh yeah.
My opinion on the matter is that no, I'll discuss it. Just like any religious group, the people at 770 Eastern Parkway in Crown Heights, Brooklyn, New York, did not want to have to follow the same protocols that everyone else was following, and like any people, during COVID, and like any people, be it they Islamic or Christian, if you're very forthright in your beliefs, you'll do everything you can to be able to continue to daven, is what we call it, but pray. And so while I don't perhaps endorse that behavior, and while I also don't know exactly what went on there, to me it seems like something that religious people would do, and that's now up to the city of New York and how they want to address the situation.
Do you think Bush did 9/11?
Duh.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a great
Israel
one.
or Palestine?
No, wait, okay, no.
Bush did 9/11 was good. Bush did not do
Specific. So we have to.
Hold on.
We have to say, did he specifically do it? Was he the mastermind behind it? Absolutely not. That had been a plan, perhaps, of the deep state for the entire lifetime of the World Trade Centers. In fact, they may have been built with the intent to bring them down in such a fashion. So if you would want to know who I feel was a mastermind behind it, one of the real masterminds far before George Walker Bush was perhaps, and I'll call him on the table. I've had correspondence with the man, and he is since deceased, but someone, let's just say, who had a front row seat from Rockefeller Center was David Rockefeller, and watched it all happen. So if you want to know...
When you're saying you think the building was meant to go down, I mean, if you look at any building destruction, say in Lebanon or China, where they tear down buildings, I mean, you blow up one level and it just all collapses straight down. I mean, I wouldn't say they're all designed to just fall and
Anybody just has to look at World Trade Center 7 and hear Larry Silverstein when he says that we pulled it in an interview, and he says the building came down, and you can watch it falls at free fall speed. I'm not stupid. I don't need the National Institute of Science and Technology to tell me what free fall speed is. I've watched baseballs fall at free fall speed. I've watched golf balls fall at free fall speed. Buildings don't fall at free fall speed, and then unless they are wired to do so. And I also know exactly what was in that building, including offices for the CIA, the Secret Service, the Department of the Treasury, the Federal Reserve. Many groups were in that building. And look, I'm not stupid. I know how this happened. I don't know why we have to play a big game that, like, it had to go down 21, like, or hijackers or whatever. And when you actually look into those people, they just used a bunch of people's like the hijackers.
Bin Laden's life was taken for no reason.
I think he probably died of liver failure. Well, that's just from Central. That's just from Central Intelligence documents. That
Israel and Palestine.
No, Rabbi, but what do you feel about the dancing Israelis?
Yeah, so if you really want to know how it goes down, Mossad is a very powerful organization, and at the end of the day, Mossad's taking over the world. I'm very vocal about it. You have to understand, I'm taking that motherfucker over. You're like, Rabbi, you're taking over Mossad? Fuck yeah. I have more data than any person in global history. Along this entire time, I've talked about Mossad, very much so. And I've emailed Mossad. They're very well aware of who I am and what I'm... Pardon me?
Nothing. Continue.
Thank you. And I don't fear Mossad. In fact, if anything, people probably could make the argument in the future that I work for Mossad. Why? Because I'm working on world peace. I'm also working on the expansion of Israel. I think that Israel will be the entire world someday, and it's just a matter of time for that to happen. Now, that may strike fear in your heart, and I don't want it to. I want you to know that there will be people who will be protected, and I think most likely all of you will be, and you'll be able to live life amongst the stars. You'll be able to participate in space tourism and all the other things that you want in this world. I don't want to cut any points here, though. This is about global domination. Any country that has ever existed has had one mission, and that's to take over the world. And don't think Israel's is any different.
Can I say 2 words?
Sure.
Israel, Palestine, we get it.
No. Shalom, Shabbat.
Shabbat shalom. Thank you.
Why do you call yourself a rabbi? Are you a Jewish teacher?
He is.
I am.
Do you study Jewish law?
Yes,
I
I
know
have.
Jewish. Do you study Jewish law?
Yeah.
Oh my God, Jake, fucking dumbass. You keep fucking talking.
Wait, so if you're a Jew, do you hate black people?
Go ahead, young child.
No, I love black people.
Jesus Christ.
I absolutely love black people. Like,
Yeah, how do you say fuck you in Hebrew?
I don't.
I've been sitting here trying to get a word out for the past hour. Holy fuck.
Go ahead, Karen.
Oh, okay. I forgot what I was gonna say. Kevin, fuck off, man. One at a time. Listen. All right, Kevin, you speak first. Kevin, I'm gonna fucking vote you at this fucking combo because you can't do it.
No, you're not as well. Anyways, let me say something. Okay, so basically, you fucking Jews already run the world. What the fuck are you talking about?
That's correct.
yapping. Don't start yapping. I was gonna ask you questions. That's all I have to say real quick.
Okay.
Are you on the spectrum?
No.
Are you sure? Like, are you not diagnosed? Like, when's the last time you went to the doctor?
Like within the last year, I've never been on a doctor. I go in for a yearly physical. Hey, my friends. Here's the thing. I'd love to come here and speak with you all. I'd love to come and play trivia. I'd love to come and answer all your questions, but you got to do it in a polite fashion.
Yeah, come on, man.
Bro, I'm serious.
Extra.
Yo, Rabbi, what is it? What is it? Dancing Israel. What is it?
Genuinely
Dancing Israel? What is that? That you guys just talked about?
Dancing Israelite? You mean the people that were dancing that were fucking happy about 9/11? I forgot what the.
Is that what it is, Rabbi?
It's like some like they say the Jews did it. The Jews did 9/11.
A lot of people were involved in it.
But what is it? Like, what is it? Can you give me a breakdown?
Just Wikipedia. Let's see what it says.
He doesn't even know.
No, I know very much so what it means.
Any other questions?
And by the way, I know I wasn't being rude. I genuinely want to know if you're on the spectrum.
I know. I answered your question.
Nah, he's very rude.
The fuck? He told me
Before you come in here, he thinks you're on a lot of medication. Is that true?
I wish if I could get it, I would.
The fuck?
Hell yeah, man.
What medications are you on?
Oh, I'm not on any medications, but if I could, I love to microdose.
Microdose what?
Psilocybin.
Yo, I feel like you can just do that. You don't need a prescription.
I feel like
I
if
know.
Rabbi goes on Adderall,
Hey, where's your juice at, man?
he has it on. Yo, I feel like if Rabbi takes some Adderall, he would be unstoppable. If Rabbi takes some Adderall, he would be unstoppable.
Well, so,
I can tell you something.
and that's what I'm getting at. I mean, it's fantastic. It's legal speed.
Do you ever go to sleep, or do you just sleep on stream?
I always sleep on stream. You have to understand, I feel that the world's going to be able to learn a lot from this. We'll be able to study a human circadian rhythms, perhaps
Wait, Rabbi, are you sure you're live on YouTube? I don't see you.
on,
He is.
I'm on
LinkedIn general.
I'm on 8 different streams right now on YouTube.
So wait, did you start streaming on Goyim TV, the website we told you about? Remember, you should start streaming on there.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I'm just talking about.
Hey, yo, Rabbi, I have a serious question for you.
Ask
So,
him.
what's the whole purpose of Birthright Israel? To me, I don't know anything about it, but to me, it feels like pretty much sending a Jewish kid for them to get brainwashed. I want your opinion.
It is an immersion program that young people essentially.
Brainwash confirmed.
Okay.
Dude, let him
Hey,
answer, bro. How you gonna
guys.
answer?
Yeah, bro, what is that for? You're being annoying.
So it's an immersion program that people essentially from college age to age 35 can travel to Israel. This has been paid for by various donors, and I can tell you that the people that I know personally who have gone have been very connected to Israel. And when you call it brainwashing, one person's brainwashing or indoctrination is another person's immersion in culture. So it just depends on what side you're viewing it. I can tell you personally, my beliefs on Israel have, as I would say, many Jews' views on Israel are strong, but they want Israel and we want Israel to be the best country that it can be. And there are those of us who really believe that Israel is going to be the entire world someday, and that's what I forthrightly believe. There are some people who think that Russia is going to be the whole world someday, or America is going to be the whole world someday, or Brazil. So for this to be seen as a superiority or something isn't a necessary thing. I want to include more people in our people. It's a family. It's a mishpacha, and I want more members of our mishpacha.
Okay. So fuck is that? Actually, don't explain.
Family, makes family.
How do you say it? Shmocha?
Mishpacha. All right, friends. I want you to know that it's been a pleasure to be here. I'm willing to come back whenever you want, but as anyone knows, I don't want to outwear my welcome either. Karin, thank you so much for the opportunity. And to everyone here, thank you so much for allowing me to answer all of your questions. This has been one more. No, you always want to leave everybody wanting more. And I want you to be wanting more as well. So you guys should know it's been an absolute pleasure to be here. If you'd like to hang out, you can follow me at discord.me/rabbi. Discord.me/rabbi. I'm always there. You can watch me. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Bye-bye. Thank you again, Karin. Shabbat shalom, everyone.
As if he's looking to another dimension or something, not like, 3 o'clock. Do you think that could have been also where he was hearing more words coming his way or anything, and he was listening? So, wondering if schizophrenia might be misdiagnosed for intuition to people who haven't developed their sensory receptivity to a kind of like if you are smelling things, but you don't know you have a nose. And so you tell people like, I'm smelling stuff, but everyone's like, oh, that's baloney. You don't have there's no way to pick up on smell. And I feel that's kind of like intuition. But on this level, I think it was more than a telepathic type picking up on my vibe, but as if it's like a dimension cross or something. And the other thing I wanted to point out
all over the weather because the moon is moving away at a few centimeters every single year. And as the moon backs off of Earth, our weather patterns are going to get more hectic and chaotic, and the wobble is going to be uncontrollable to the point where life won't be able to exist. Not our kind of life won't be able to exist on this planet. So just losing the moon alone in a few million years is going to destroy us. So we have to create breakaway civilizations. We have to get out of here, which is what all these other advanced civilizations in these ancient texts have done.
Well, it only makes sense if Terrence is correct about this idea of the Goldilocks zone. It only makes sense. And if there are other planets somewhere in another galaxy or ours that have the same exact sort of features, water, the same temperature, the same mixture of amino acids and whatever the hell else is here that makes life, and then it happens there too. It just makes sense that some places are going to be more stable, so they're going to have less natural disasters, so like people will evolve faster and longer, they'll exist longer. But then, there's the argument that the natural disasters are actually good, because the natural disasters knock us back down. If we're about to destroy everything, knock us back down to some much more primitive version of ourselves, and then we have to rebuild society again over thousands of years, which to the universe is a blink of an eye.
That's a blink of an eye. You're right. That's exactly what happened in the Emerald Tablets. 36,000 years ago, Thoth he arrives in this place called the land of Kem, ancient Kemet, before it was known as Egypt. His father sent him on a mission to rebuild civilization back up to a higher level, meaning that it already was at a high level prior to this flood situation. And he says he gets into the great ship of the master and he takes off into the sky until the earth disappears. And then he goes to the planet appointed and he sees beneath him the children of the land of Kem. And he descends down. He doesn't sail in, he descends down. And when the ship lands, he opens his doors and he comes out with his crew. And he says the barbarians came out to attack him with cudgels and spears. He says, I raised my staff and sent out a ray of vibrations, stopping him still as fragments of stone of the mountain. So he had a stun gun. He had a weapon that was, not lethal, non-lethal weapon that can freeze you in your tracks. And we have something just like that now in the military called the active denial system. They can send a beam at a crowd coming to attack and make them stop still right in their tracks. They can make you feel like you're on fire, make you feel like you want to vomit. They can even put voices in your head. They can make you be in extreme pain. It's called the active denial system. So he's talking about technology back then that we have right now.
Dude, go look up that. Because you think that's what that Havana syndrome thing is?
It's possible, man. This thing, if you put it above, like in the sky, and aim it at an area, and the beam spreads a little bit, you can create mass illness, mass sickness, mass hysteria. you can have everyone running around thinking that they've got somebody talking to them and commanding them to do certain things. It's out of control. This weapon can be fully weaponized in a lethal way, in a way that can make people become psychotic. You can make somebody think they're burning it on fire.
Whoa. Active denial system demo. Can we listen to what this guy's saying?
It can deter individuals on a military perimeter all the way up to a riotous crowd, all without permanent harm.
It only penetrates 1/64 of an inch of your skin. Goes very shallow into where your nerve receptors are.
They can't take the pain.
There's no permanent injury caused by it.
So what does it do to them?
Send a frequency, a beam of frequency, just like Dope says in the Emerald Tablets. I put this in my book because it's important.
The guests volunteer to test out its effectiveness and safety, including the Assistant Commandant of the Marine Corps.
Wow, he said fuck it. He said fuck it.
Assistant Secretary of the Navy. Most described it as feeling like a hot oven or grill being opened up.
It is something that...
Wow!
Yeah. So that's what he used on them thousands of years ago.
Holy shit. Or something like 2012?
Yeah.
Oh, now they turned it into a statue.
Oh, yeah.
Statue.
Absolutely.
Now it's over. In Medusa.
Yeah.
Medusa.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Same technology.
What do you think Medusa was?
Frequency technology.
Imagine that. Imagine that story. We always thought that was just some crazy story.
Yeah.
But imagine there's a technology back then that can actually turn you into stone.
Right.
Now that we know that people can do things like that, and then we would imagine 1,000 years of evolution, 10,000, 500,000, whatever these people are, whatever these things are that have the ability, it's kind of disappointing that they're still waging war, though. I got to tell you that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's a bummer.
It's a real archaic mindset. You know, we have to find a way to rise above. This is why we need to understand exactly what happened. And how do we overcome what's been embedded into our epigenetic memories? Because we're suffering from epigenetic mental hysteria, which is psychosis, this war psychosis. We've been programmed as human beings to have consumption and fighting and competition over collaboration.
Yeah.
Everything is designed to keep us separate. Divide and conquer is the main mission, and it works so well for so many thousands of years. And this divide and conquer tactic that's been burnt into our DNA and our code has put us in a situation where we are not advancing as we should be. We're getting now this technology leaked out to us. And yes, that's advancing pretty fast, but consciously and spiritually, it's holding us back. Everyone's putting themselves in boxes and saying, I'm a part of this thing and I'm a part of that thing. And then we don't work together.
No, that's such an important point, and it needs to be drilled into people's heads.
Yeah.
We're distracting ourselves by getting involved in these stupid arguments over stupid things.
Right.
When there's really important issues with the world, and those aren't being addressed. And one of the big ones is, how do you stop people from killing each other? How do you stop war? How do we stop this insane practice of having groups of people go up against groups of people they've never even met and killing them?
Exactly.
And then we're all okay with this. We talk about how this is normal and this has to be done, and war is ugly and it's unfortunate, but we have to do it. Like, okay, are you fucking sure? Who's pulling the strings here?
People with $10,000 suits that don't get on the front line.
Yeah.
That send poor kids and young men and women to die.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
And it's all about money.
It's all about money. And Smedley Butler wrote about it in 1933.
War's a racket.
Yeah. And
that's right.
You read that. Read that from 1933, folks.
Mm-hmm.
And this was a general who was he a general?
Yes, general.
Was this right? Yeah.
General.
Who was retiring, and he wrote this piece about how he thought he was preserving democracy. He was really just making the place safe for bankers. And it's an ugly business that Eisenhower tried to warn us about in his leaving from office speech.
That's right.
When he stepped down, or when he was no longer the president, he left office and gave a speech about warning about the military-industrial complex and its influence.
He sure did.
And I don't think they knew back then that people would be able to have YouTube and just watch that.
Yeah.
If that's how they did it back then, imagine how good they are at it now.
Oh, man, they're masters at neuroscience. Applying neuroscience to the general population, they are masters at it. And they know how to get into the psyche of a human being, and they know how to turn us against each other while they themselves chop it all up. Like I always say, there is no Democrat or Republican. It doesn't exist. The only thing that exists is a group of elite oligarchs that torture men, women, and children worldwide. That exists. They capitalize and monetize us, and they put their boot on our neck. But to think that there's left wing and a right wing, I think it's the same bird.
Yeah, it's all just money.
Yeah.
It's all money. And they use social issues whatever they are, whether it's Christianity or abortion rights or whatever it is. They just use those as like little moves that they put in their little game. And really what it's about is enriching themselves and staying in power. And the best way to stay in power is control narratives and to control influence and make people believe a very specific thing and drill it into their head. But the problem is, like, I think human beings are more awake now than ever before, and they know this game now. At least a large number of us know this game.
It's shifting so fast.
Yeah.
It's shifting like incredibly fast, which is great.
How old are you, Billy?
I'll be 53 in September.
You look great.
Thanks, man.
So you and I are basically close to the same age. I'm 56. And when we were kids, this version of the world was never discussed. You'd have to be a complete kook to think that money is why wars are started. Oh, come on. No one would ever do that.
Right.
You would be a complete kook to think that the pharmaceutical drug companies lie about their drugs. What are you talking about? They can't do that. They would be arrested.
Yeah.
You'd be a kook.
Yeah.
And now, especially after the pandemic, that's how everybody feels.
Yo,
They're
dog.
watching these wars go on between Ukraine.
I don't know if you're
Russia
watching,
and Palestine,
but if you're watching, you're gonna get it.
In the 21st century, this is still happening right now.
In large scale. And people are having debate over the acceptable amount of numbers of women and children that are allowed to die in a war.
Right. It's insane. It's insanity.
Insane.
Earth is, partly it's a giant mental facility. Mental health is a major issue on this planet.
Yeah.
When a person can look at someone and say they deserve to die because of their beliefs or their non-belief.
All right, here we go.
That's a major problem. That's a sign of mental illness.
It's also a sign of like a spoiled child. It's almost like
Yo, dog. This is from my friend Karan and all his friends, especially my man Persian Poppy. Shout out to Persian Poppy.
Anthropologists are looking at chimpanzees now, and they're looking at them saying they're entering into the Stone Age.
Yeah.
Like they're using tools now. Now, if you watch that same chimpanzee and you went a few million years in the future, who knows what it looks like? Probably looks like an upward looking human that has much more intricate tools.
Yeah.
Who knows if it's created stone weapons,
all right,
structures,
friends.
houses. They may develop a language.
True.
We watch chimpanzees over the course of evolution, but that's too slow. So if you were another highly intelligent, they're gonna get there.
You know you want me. You know you care. You just remember. I'll be there. You are my love. You are my heart. You'll never, ever, and ever be apart. Neither I don't. You playing. With just friends, what are you saying? There's another, my first time, and I was like, baby, 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 oh, right, baby, 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 oh, right, baby, 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 oh, I thought you'd always be my baby, 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 oh. Right, baby, 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 oh, right, baby, 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 oh, right, always be mine, would have done whenever, yeah, together, wanna play it cool, but I'm losing you, won't anything, I'll buy you any ring, running races. They fix me, and then shaking till you wake me from this bad dream. And I'm going down, 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 down. And I just can't believe my first love won't be around. And I'm like, baby, 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 oh, like, baby, 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 oh, like, baby, 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 oh, like, thought you'd always be mine, baby, 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 oh, baby, 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 oh, right, baby, 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 oh, thought you'd always be mine, I had my first love. There was no because they didn't love. And it's going to be crazy. Oh, I was starstruck. The dude didn't get barely. Don't need no Starbucks. You made me heart pound. You made me do it and I was laying around. But on the weekend, to keep some amazing. Baby, 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 oh, baby, 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 oh, baby, 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 oh, cause you'd always be mine, mine, baby, 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 oh, baby, 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 oh, baby, 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 oh, I thought you'd always be mine, mine. Yeah, I'm all gone.
You develop a higher Exactly, that's exactly what it is. The more we go, the more we're able to tap
Yo,
in.
shout out to Persian Poppy. Shout out to Karin. Shout out to all of Karin's Discord. Shout out to Kick. Shout out to all the haters.